Can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy. Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Attorneys who worked on the Vybz Kartel case, Bert Samuels and John Clark, say there are major lessons for the justice system following Wednesday's ruling. Kartel, whose given name is Adija Palmer, walked out of the Tower Street Correctional Facility a free man after spending 13 years behind bars. His former co-defendants, Sean Storm Campbell, Andre St. John and Kahira Jones, were also acquitted of the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. We have more in this report from Shalois Michael.
Bert Samuels, who previously represented Sean Storm, says the court's first error was continuing the trial despite allegations of jury tampering.
I think that the DPP who imposed herself in the chambers, she was not a member of the prosecution team and misled the judge, ought to have known better not to encourage the judge, who was a senior judge and himself should have known, to continue the case with Juror X, who was alleged to have been bribing the others. The lesson from that is the prosecution has a duty to see that justice is done. It's not win or lose for them. The Constitution says that the arm of the state in the form of the prosecution must protect the rights of persons on trial. So the lesson from that is, and I say this to young members of the DPP's office, do not seek a victory which will be short-lived and make you look as unconstitutional as that now look in retrospect.
The trial was plagued with several jury-related issues, but despite the allegations, it continued for more than 60 days. It concluded with the 4 men being convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. The then convicts appealed the sentence. Their appeal was rejected in 2020. However, the men pressed ahead, appealing to Jamaica's final court, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. In March this year, the Privy Council ruled that they had been denied a fair trial and overturned their convictions. The law lords ordered the local court of appeal to determine whether a retrial should be held. And on Wednesday, that court determined that a retrial would not be in the interest of justice. Mr. Samuels says it should not have taken the Privy Council to overturn the convictions.
I was particularly disappointed when the Court of Appeal did not accept in Jamaica the arguments that we had presented in relation to that jury point. And it led to another court having to make pronouncements and make our domestic customers unable to give justice.
Attorney at law John Clark says the justice system has several cases up for retrial that are yet to get underway. He says there's a dire need for such cases to be examined.
There's a Jamaican citizen who's waiting for 20 years for his trial in relation to allegations of murder, which took place 20 years ago, to be completed. 10 years ago, a retrial was ordered by the Court of Appeal, and that matter still stands before the Jamaican justice system, awaiting to be heard. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned, especially from those situations. There's a need for an examination of the system by which we have retrial to ensure that other Jamaican citizens who may be poor, who may not have the resources to again engage for a retrial, don't have to spend too lengthy a time waiting on retrial.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, John Clark says from his experience working with the men, it's unlikely they'll seek legal recourse.
At the appropriate time, they will engage whatever team they decide is just and may decide if they ultimately want to move on with this. But I can tell you one thing. After 13 years in the criminal justice system, I would have, from my experience speaking with them, realized that they're very tired of engaging in the court system. So I'll be a bit surprised. But if they have the strength or find the strength to bring civil action in relation to nightmare for the last 13 years, because at some point in time they're just tired, as I've heard on many occasions, of engaging Jamaica's inefficient, in their view, court system.
That's John Clark, one of the attorneys who worked on the Vybz Kartel matter. More than 200 schools across the island have not yet been reconnected with, are still without power following the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July 3. That's according to the Ministry of Education and Youth. Portfolio Minister Vybz Williams made the disclosure during a post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday.
We are assessing schools for electricity, water, and telecommunication services. To date, we continue to assess the network of schools across Jamaica. We note that 223 schools have not been reconnected yet to the JPS system. This represents approximately 22% of our schools. We've compiled and sent this information within the last 2 days to the minister to bring to the attention of JPS.
Minister Williams says the majority of the affected institutions are located in Regions 4 and 5, that is Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Manchester and St. Elizabeth. The ministry is urging school principals to begin cleanup efforts no later than Monday, August 12.
We will be meeting with our board chairs and principals again this week because we want our schools to begin the cleanup early. Usually it's a week or two before school that the normal cleanup or paint up would start. We want our schools to start earlier. We're asking our principals to begin no later than Monday, August 12th, just in case in the process of the cleanup items are discovered that need to be replaced or restored. And so we're asking for this earlier deployment. We are ensuring grants to our schools are processed earlier than normal. The regions have some financial resources to help with minor repairs as well.
Meanwhile, Minister Williams says repairs have begun at some schools severely damaged by Hurricane Beryl.
In terms of the priority schools, you can see, I think, only 25 of those schools that we have to do some work to complete. We have to finalize the assessment on those in order to be able to deploy the contractors. So we are well on our way with the priority 1 schools in the time we have left to ensure that they are ready for September 2nd. And for those schools in priority 2 and 3, work will be done during the school year while school is in session.
Vybz Williams, Education Minister, speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing. She notes that close to 44,000 students attended the 94 schools significantly damaged. Based on the ministry's assessment, 89 contractors have so far been identified to begin working on the affected schools. 19 contractors have already begun working on school repairs. Minister Williams says the number of contractors given possession of school sites is now at 60. The Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, says the recent operation by the police in Negril, which resulted in 4 gunmen being killed, highlights the dangers faced by members of the security forces. The minister was speaking at the handing over ceremony of motor vehicles to the JCF on Wednesday. He commended the police for disrupting another criminal organization.
The police demonstrated their full operation capacity, intelligence, skill, and effective implementation and execution of interrupting one of the most organized and dangerous criminal group operating in Jamaica, and took out a number of them. They challenged the police, and of course, the police, as I've said elsewhere, they are trained to protect not only society but themselves, and a number of them left us, but they also, based on the quality of the work they had done in preparing for that event, were able to detain another 6 who are involved, and therefore start the process of disrupting a very organized and desperate gang in the country. And I am sure as they pursue the investigation and prosecution, they are likely to apprehend some more.
The daylight shootout with the police happened in Negril, Westmoreland on July 26. It's understood the men intended to rob a beryllium courier. However, they were intercepted by personnel from the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Branch, CTOC. At the end of the gun battle, 4 gunmen lay dead and 1 was hospitalized. 6 high-powered rifles were seized following the shootout. Dr. Chang says the rifles seized indicates that the gunmen were highly dangerous and intended to cause maximum harm.
The actual operation demonstrates what can happen, that the police, while carrying out their very crucial duty, is always at risk. The men were as armed as any military operation, military team operated with assault rifles, automatic weapons, and they did not carry them for show. If the men were not trained to operate effectively and efficiently, you could have had additional activities there. But let me just say, we're very happy there were no casualties to the police force, and we were able to begin the process of disrupting some very dangerous criminals in the island.
Dr. Horace Chang, National Security Minister. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has added 40 new service vehicles to its fleet. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says the vehicles will help in improving mobility and reducing the response time of the police.
It is essential in responding effectively to citizens' need for policing services, and our ability to consistently deliver timely response is critical to effective policing. In enhancing our visibility in communities, other public spaces and all roadways, these vehicles will advance our commitment to citizens' safety and help us to create communities and a nation that are resilient to crime and disorder.
The vehicles are valued at a cost of over $313 million. Dr. Blake says they'll be deployed island-wide across the various police formations.
They come at an opportune time to be deployed to our highway patrols island-wide as we continue to scale up our presence, particularly on our major thoroughfares, to provide reassurance and peace of mind for the law-abiding citizens as they go about their businesses. And with these additional highway patrol vehicles, we can make our roadways safe again. We recognize the responsibility to safely and strategically use these assets to maintain law and order by actively intercepting and engaging those whose sole intent is to disrupt and cause mayhem. To these persons, the other area of focus for these vehicles is yours. Our area fugitive apprehension team and our operational support team will be more mobile, more agile, and even more relentless in your pursuit and in curtailing your activities.
That's Dr. Kevin Blake, the Commissioner of Police. The Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, George Wright, says several communities in the constituency remain without essential services, including power, water, and in some cases telecommunications. These communities include Porter's Mountain, Welcome, Grange, Content, Tulsi Lane in George's Plain, as well as Cook Street and Wharf Road in Savannah Lamar. Mr. Wright is calling on the utility companies to expedite the restoration of services to the affected areas. He's also urging the government to prioritize the restoration of affected thoroughfares to facilitate the delivery of essential supplies and services to impacted communities. Mr. Wright notes that the swift repair of roads and infrastructure is vital for enabling emergency response teams to reach those in need and to support the overall recovery process. Regional news now. I beg your pardon. It's time to break, and then when we return, we give you the regional and international stories on the other side of the break.
As the world gathers to celebrate the spirit of competition and excellence at the Olympics, Imperial Optical invites you to see the games with perfect vision. Their range of high-quality eyewear ensures that every moment, every triumph, and every motion is crystal clear. Your vision is their expertise. Let Imperial Optical bring the clear vision of the Olympics to you. Visit their website to book your appointment today. www.imperialja.com.
Dear residents, we understand that some of you are currently facing great inconvenience being without electricity. Due to the damage affecting your supply, the process to restore power will take some time. Rest assured, however, that we are doing our very best to ensure everyone is reconnected as quickly and as safely as possible. We kindly ask for your continued patience and understanding during this challenging time. JPS, committed to getting your service back as soon as possible.
Regional news now. The Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank has proposed a raft of measures to improve public road transportation in the region. It says increasing administrative capacity, implementing cashless payment systems and user information portals, as well as enhancing accessibility for vulnerable populations are part of a comprehensive and sustainable improvement framework. At a virtual development of sustainable public transport systems workshop held earlier this week, the CDB said the fact that public transportation navigation in many regional countries currently faces challenges such as inadequate service, unreliability, poor organization, and limited accessibility for vulnerable populations. Further afield, 3 Americans who were freed in a prisoner swap deal with Russia, including Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, have arrived back on U.S. soil. The 32-year-old Gershkovich was one of 16 prisoners swapped for 8 Russian prisoners in what has been described as the biggest exchange since the end of the Cold War between Russia and the West. The exchange at an airfield in Turkey also included the release of former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan and Russian-American journalist also Kurmasheva. After touching down at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, Gershkovich, Kurmasheva, and Whelan emerged from the jet to cheers from those on the tarmac. All 3 were greeted by U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris before they embraced their families. That's the news.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
Eliminate the hassle of managing multiple medications that can be confusing. Thanks to Horton's Pharmacy. Introducing RX Pack, a mobile app available in the App Store and Google Play Store. RX Pack is specially designed for you to order and manage your medications. Download today for free. That's RX Pack for better medication management. Call 876-RX-0-RX-RX or visit our website, hortonsrx.com for more details.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
Time now for sport. Tia Clayton, Shasha Forbes, and the Shelley-Ann Fraser Prize all advanced to the semifinals of the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics. Clayton was the first to qualify, made that the second round of the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics. Clayton was the first to qualify, finishing second in Heat 4 in 11 seconds flat, behind Audrey Leduc of Canada, who ran a national record 10.95 seconds. Forbes also finished second in her heat, clocking 11.19, with the race going to Twanisha T.T. Terry of the United States in 11.15. And Fraser Price looked smooth in easing to 10.92 seconds to finish behind Marie-Josée Talou-Smith of the Ivory Coast, who ran a season's best 10.87.
Two-time Olympic champion. She's up reasonably well, not brilliantly. Torres from Puerto Rico started better than she did. Talou-Smith is on the inside. Fraser Price comes to challenge her, and Talou-Smith gets the win in 10.87, the quickest time of the morning.
Lance Whitaker there on commentary. Meanwhile, Lamara Distin failed to advance in the women's high jump. Her best clearance was 1.88 meters. And swimmer Josh Curl, who also failed to advance from the heats of the men's 100 meters butterfly after he finished fifth in his heat in 54.66 seconds. Jamaica Premier League club Arnett Gardens will meet Atletico Pantoja of the Dominican Republic in the semifinals of the Caribbean Club Shield in Curacao. Kickoff at 4:30 p.m. Jamaica time. Arnett advanced to the last four with a 7-1 spanking of Jean Halland, while Pantoja booked their spot after clipping Metropolitan 1-0. In the other semifinal, Grenades will face Dublin. Jamaica's under-19 women will play U.S. Virgin Islands in semi-final 2 of the Cassava Volleyball Championships at the G.C. Foster College this afternoon at 5. In semi-final 1, Barbados will meet Trinidad and Tobago. On the men's side, Jamaica will face Barbados in semi-final 2 at 7 p.m., while TNT will battle the U.S. Virgin Islands in semi-final 1 at 1 p.m. That's it for sport.
Me, busy as usual, so I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my One JN Passport app. It's a whole new level of convenience and access to services within the JN Financial Group. Just a few taps on my smartphone and box. I can update my personal information, open a JN Bank savings account, and even apply for an unsecured loan. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The One JN Passport app. JN will help you find a way.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
Time now for business news. Grace Kennedy Limited achieved an 8% increase in revenue for the 6-month period ending in June compared to the corresponding period in 2023. That's according to its unaudited financial results released on Wednesday. During the period, Grace Kennedy achieved revenues of just over $84 billion. That's $6 billion more than 2023. Profitability also improved, with profit before tax increasing by $300 million or 5.1%. Net profit attributable to stockholders was $4.44 billion. That represents a near 6% increase. That's the business news.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:26.
Need equipment rental, repair, or sales? The Contractor Center has you covered. We also offer epoxy installation, stamp concrete, and construction chemicals, serving commercial, industrial, construction, and residential industries. Don't let everyday challenges hold you back. Visit us at 26 Shortwood Road or online at contractorcenterja.com or call 876-968-4816.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
A time to double up your savings. These are the boost that you've been awaiting. Put in the water dreams you've been chasing. Double up your savings. Double up.
Save so you can win in the JN Bank Double Up Your Savings promotion. You could be one of 5 lucky quarterly winners to walk away with double the money you put in your savings account. Conditions apply.
Double up your savings.
Check our website and social media for details. JN Bank will help you find a way. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
I only have Hanes.
Make yourself comfortable in authentic Hanes underwear. Nothing beats the never out of style ultra soft 100% premium cotton Hanes underwear. Hanes Comfort Fit V, crew neck and A shirts, absorbent Hanes socks, Comfort Flex Hanes boxer briefs for men, and stylish itch-free Hanes underwear for women and kids. Make yourself comfortable this holiday season, inside, out, and underneath with Hanes underwear for that cool all-day comfort everyone deserves.
I only have Hanes for you.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best, you are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome, that's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way, you got to taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun. You could be living this minute, the next minute you're gone away. Hold up your heads, my brothers, be conscious, my sisters, and by your works you shall surely be paid. Never try to list the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, the one who sits high and he looks down low. And if you ever miss the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, then you'll be someone that he don't know. Say a prayer and chant a psalm. Prayer a day keep the evil calm. You don't have to go to church or be a Christian to call on your name. Hey. Shout out the name Jehovah in the valleys. Shout out the name Jehovah on the hills. Shout out the name Jehovah on the plains. Or even if it rains, call on the name. Call on your name the same. Call on the name. Yeah. So never try to diss the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, the one who sits high and he looks down low. And if you ever diss the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, then you will be someone that he don't know. Hey, listen up, I know time is getting up. Time is short and life is precious. Hey, listen up, I know time is getting up. Life is short but time is precious. You've got to have the heart of a lion, the children to reach Mount Zion. You can never be afraid, just call on his name. Life is no game. Life is no game. Hey, Never try to diss the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, the one who sits high and he looks down low. And if you ever diss the man with the anger, the one who's got the tiger, then you'll be someone that he don't know. Hey, there are lots of signs in life, some that you may not like. You could be living this minute, the next minute you're gone away. Hold up your heads, my brother, be conscious, my sister, and by your works you shall surely be paid. Never try to diss the man with the anger, the one who
6:33 on the clock. Good morning. It's Nationwide this morning here on Nationwide 90 FM. My name is George Davis.
And I'm Saeed Bernard. Top of the morning to our listeners or viewers, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. George, I can't send them a boiled tea and brew coffee because they probably do that already. Because, of course, they've been up from 3, some 4, some 5, taking in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, big up to all of the people then.
I got here 3, and Mr. King was here long before. Alric Sway was here long before.
You get there for 2 o'clock, King?
Yeah, man, he was here from that time. He was here for a long time. So we've been at it for a while, and it's nice. It's nice. I mean, it's great to wake up to excellent, outstanding competition in sport. And this morning was no different. All 3 women easing through. Let me just remind those who came in late of the situation in the women's 100 meters, the first round. The qualifiers from Heat 1, Shakira Richardson, she ran 10:94. Patricia van der Vecken from Luxembourg, 11:14. And Bree Masters from Australia, 11:26 from Heat 1.
That's her season's best?
Yes, Heat 2, Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, 10:95. Zoe Hobbs from New Zealand, 11:08. And Zainab Dosser from Italy, 11:30. Then in Heat 3, Daryl Nita from Great Britain, 10:92. Melissa Jefferson from the United States, Shakira Richardson's training partner, she ran 10:96. And Boglarka Takacs from Hungary, 11:10. Those were the 3 qualifiers. Then in Heat 4, Audrey Leduc from Canada, 10:95, a national record. Tia Clayton was second, 11 seconds flat. Imani Lansiko from Great Britain was third. Then in Heat 5, Eva Svoboda from Poland, 10:99 to finish ahead of Dina Asher-Smith, 11:01. And Rosemary Chukuma from Nigeria, 11:26. Heat 6, Twanisha Terry from the United States, 11.15. Shashali Forbes, Jamaica, 11.19. Leah Bertrand from Trinidad and Tobago, 11.27. Heat 7, Gina Mariam Basbitai from Gambia, 11:01. Mujinga Kambunji from Switzerland, 11:05. Delphine Nkasa from Belgium, 11:20. And in Heat 8, Marie-Josie Talou-Smith from Côte d'Ivoire, 10:87. Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, 10:92. Gina Luckenkemper from Germany, 11:08. So the 3 fastest, the 3 first place finishers and the 3 fastest qualifiers, 3 fastest times outside of those qualifiers, they made their way through to the next round of the women's 100 meters. So nice and easy for the Jamaicans concerned.
Yeah. It's always good to see the photo finishing, George. That's what I like about the website. But yeah, so interesting times ahead. Of course, the Olympic record sits with Elaine Thompson-Hero at 10.61. The world record with Florence Griffith Joyner at 10.49. Yeah, so unfortunately, Elaine is not at the Olympics. But we have others who certainly, I think, will medal in this event.
This is going to be very, very competitive, though.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at the first round times, which my panel of experts are united that you shouldn't draw any conclusions either way from the first round. You shouldn't write off an athlete who's gone through to the next round. You shouldn't talk up an athlete's chances just because they looked good in the first round. First round is usually the easiest. But from there, from round 2 forward, is when you should now start taking cues. My panel, though, believes that Tia Clayton looked a bit disorganized in her running as she eased through. Well, she came through for second. She ran all the way through for 11 seconds flat. I'm not worried about that, and I'm not as concerned as they are. I'm just happy that she made the next round, and I think that she will only improve from here. But my experts, and they're experts for a reason, they were picking apart things where her form and execution were concerned. But as I said, it's really moot, all of those things at this point, because she wanted to qualify for round 2. She is in round 2, and she can fix any problems from here. Mrs. Fraser-Price, Said, looked really, really smooth in her heat. Talou ran 10:87, very fast time. Talu's fastest time this season by some measure, and Fraser Price was 10:92 behind her. And she just looked good. And as Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn pointed out, she's been bothered by a knee complaint in recent times, Shelley and Fraser Price, but she didn't run with the knee strap that we've seen her with the few times we've seen her this season, suggesting that maybe the knee is good. And if the knee is good, then you know that Mommy Rocket is going to deliver a capital effort, and her capital efforts usually sees her standing at the highest point on the podium. So, yeah, I was really pleased to see how well she looked this morning.
Well, she has not been to any Olympic Games and not medaled in the 100 meters. So, there's some history on her side.
No,
she's event is
awesome.
concerned.
As they say, best of all time over 100 meters. There is no doubt about that. Shakira Richardson looked good, looked powerful at 10:94. She is, whoever beats her will win gold. I can say that much. Whoever finishes in front of her will be the gold medal winner in this 100 meters. She looks really, really powerful, the American, in that early heat, and setting down 10:94. That was the second fastest time to qualify for the next run. But as I said, the times are just really of academic interest here, and not really a marker for anything. And then the St. Lucian, who looked very good as well, Julian Alfred, 10:95, running out of lane 9. A very, very, very strong contender for a medal, Julian Alfred is, and St. Lucia, she's on the cusp of creating history for St. Lucia. All right, I must ask you, Saeed, about further reactions to what happened in the Court of Appeal, or at the Court of Appeal on Wednesday, and senior members of the bar saying that there are lessons for the justice system to draw from what happened with the cartel matter. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that point.
I certainly think, for one, legislators have lessons to learn from it as it relates to updating our Jury Act, which I think the Minister of Justice already is on. But that, George, has a huge loophole. As it relates to the lessons as well for the judiciary, certainly as it relates to the Constitution, I think it reinforces the right to a fair trial. It reinforces this idea of impartiality and the fact that justice is blind and the pendulum swings either way. It reinforces for me, I think, the Constitution. And notwithstanding what we think of it, I think, based on what happened on July 31st, some confidence might have been restored to the common man as it relates to what justice looks like for them. And he asked the question, George, when we spoke on Wednesday morning, what does justice look like for you? And what justice looks like for those men certainly look different for those who are victims or the family or the relatives of Clive Lizard. And so at the end of the day, I think that the ruling is sound in law, sound in practice, but I think it also sends a message that the right to fair trial still exists, that justice still exists, notwithstanding who stands in the dock. And so I want to make it clear, though, George, that I am not celebrating in any way, shape, or form the fact that Kartel has been freed. What I celebrate as a student of the law is that the law was upheld, notwithstanding who the law was applied to. And that, you might have a problem with it, but that is what you really and truly want if ever there comes a day when the law is to be applied to you. That's what you want. So that's my thought on it.
The issue of justice, though, and as we've been saying from Wednesday, it's going to look different to different people. There are people who have, as you've said, have renewed faith in the justice system. And there are those whose confidence will be shaken further because they're going to say, here it is, a man was killed, of that we have no doubt. And yet, those who were tried and convicted are now free, not because a court found them not guilty, but because procedurally there were flaws which then translates into a breach of rights and compromised a trial. Now, some would say, the cynics would say, well, look, use your imagination and think who would seek to compromise the jury pool to get a certain verdict. Yes? And what if in your imagination you settle and say, all right then, it's the defense team, or not even the defense team, because that would be imputing the lawyers involved in criminality, and I'm not doing that. But imagine for a moment that it was the side favoring Mr. Kartel, or people close to him, who sought to do that. And it didn't work initially, but down the line it worked. Because you have people saying that's exactly what people are saying, and people are saying that, look, how can I believe in justice when a court found these men guilty, but you're going to tell me this morning that they are free because, procedurally, the judge should have discharged the jury, he should have empaneled a fresh one and asked them to consider the case, rather than carrying along and carrying on at the time of day that he chose to do it. On those grounds, the men are free. People will tell you that justice is not fair. And more to the point, as Bert Samuels told me Friday, he said, look, because I put this question to him as to whether or not people will believe in the justice system more by virtue of what happened on Wednesday. He said, not necessarily, because don't forget that Kartel had 4 different teams of lawyers through the court, through the appeal court, through the Supreme, through the Privy Council, and then back to the Court of Appeal again. 4 places, 4 different teams of lawyers. The average Jamaican cannot hope to afford 4 teams of lawyers, 4 courts, 4 cycles to get what in the end Kartel and his supporters deem as justice. So they see this, they say, boy, the system really hard to get around, because if I don't have deep pockets, I don't stand a chance. So the plebiscite is out on whether or not justice is a real living, breathing thing, and that justice is within the reach of people. There are many who will tell you that, look, Kartel got what he deserved because the system is oppressive. The system tried to lock him up because he's innocent. And as I said to you last week, Saeed, no, well, not last week, Wednesday, there are people who say free Kartel because they believe that he's an innocent man. There are those who are saying free Kartel because they want to say, well, so even if him kill him, so what? Free him just to see him because a world boss and a dancer and a Gaza, we say, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah? And then there are those who are saying, what kind of system is this? Who will now give justice to Lizard Williams' mom? Lizard Williams' family? Where is the justice for them in all this?
And I think that reiterates the point, George, because all of what you said is very much valid. And you cannot wrong anybody for thinking either of what you've laid on the table. But I think that reiterates for us, George, that those of us who are involved in the carriage of justice, from our judges all the way down to our attorneys, we have a sacred duty. And what justice looks like and the very belief in it, it's in our hands. It's certainly in our hands. And when you raise those points as it relates to what justice is, I think it also goes to the root as well as to people not believing that justice can only be sought when justice is in the hands only here. Because there's a school of thought now that if it were not for the Privy Council, there is no way
Kartel would have gotten what they believe to be justice.
Absolutely. And so now, that school of thought as well as it relates to justice and whether or not we can deliver justice in our own homeland is something we have to grapple with. The end and be all of it, George, should be, especially for those in the judiciary and who practice in the courts, that we have such a sacred duty that we have to be very diligent and dutiful in upholding the offices that we hold, because the very view of justice, the very perception of it, is important and goes to the root of a sustainable democracy. And so It's a hard one. Trust me. It is a hard one, because if I were on the other side of the fence, being a relative of the victim, then it would be a hard pill to swallow. Because to your mind, it's just a technicality. The fact still remains. The merits were there based on previous trial. But when you sit on the other side as well, you have to understand that a conviction such as that was unsafe based on how it was arrived at, notwithstanding that the merits of the matter has not changed. It's just a hard one.
I said this last thing. I said this last thing to you, that it is ironic that in Jamaica, where the so-called Babylonian system of justice, law, which are two different things, the economy, the society in general, all of those systems are rolled into one and viewed by many, especially from the downtrodden class, as Babylon. A vast, intricate Babylonian system designed to keep he or she who is small, to keep them small, to keep the oppressed, to elevate the moneyed class, the brown skin, curly hair class, and the rest of us should be kept down. Babylon system. And for years, for decades, Rastafarians have raged against the Babylon system. Bit ironic it is that the son of a Rastaman, Big Youth, Isaac Buchanan, at the forefront of what Kartel and his supporters will tell you is the defeat of the Babylonian system. Look at it like that, you know. This is what inspires song and inspires music. If you don't believe me, look into the music and you'll see a true me attack.
The Ministry of Justice offers free counseling to victims of crime. Call 876-946-0663. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
10 minutes to 7 o'clock.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage, a super summer sale. July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale. July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
We all have a champion spirit, a uniquely Jamaican spirit. We think the unthinkable and reach for the unreachable. The steady pulse of greatness beats in us all. As powerful as we are, there comes a time when everybody needs a strength. Something to take you over that last hurdle and across the finish line. Your moment is now. Unstoppable with NCB.
Attention, Jamaica! It's time to spice up your snack game with Excelsior Spice Bun. Imagine a soft, fresh, and flavorful bun that costs only $100. Sounds unreal, right? But it's real, and it's here. Perfect for busy go-getters and anyone who loves a great deal. Don't miss out on the best priced bun in town. Excelsior Spice Bun, your new favorite. Get yours today.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
8 minutes going up to 7 o'clock, and it's time for Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, Said. Oh, wow. Good morning, George.
Morning, Ludlow.
Oh, boy. Okay. The predictions are right. Okay. The listeners, good morning to you all and everyone. Those of you in Portmore would have experienced some rain. I don't know if it has subsided, but there's rain in a lot of places, even over in the east, Bull Bay, going towards Harborview. What was peculiar yesterday evening, coming from that side, there was no rain, but as you get towards Windward Road, the rain was really falling heavy. No, there are some areas where it is dewing, like in the Mona area, and some other areas like in the Avondale where it is, drizzling, but not really heavy rainfall at this time. But in the meantime, the roadways are really good so far. Coming out of Portmore, where they're exiting towards Marcus Garvey or heading towards Municipal Boulevard to get out onto the Mandela, which is flowing on that eastbound side. Also clear on the westbound side, no problems. You'll see a few cars at the intersection of Boulevard and Boulevard and Doheny Drive, and also Boulevard, Kenhill Drive, Boulevard, Mullines Road. And then it's free flowing again all the way towards Dunrobin, where you have some more traffic, just being at the intersection. But so far, most areas are moving good, coming down Red Hills Road, coming down Constant Spring Road, and even from Constant Spring Road going towards Shortwood Road, it's pretty good going. It's our first report for the morning until about 7:18. It's back to you, Saeed.
Thank you so much, Lord. That's Street Smart. Up next, the word of the day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
The word of the day is spelled Fractious. That's Fractious.
Fractious. Fractious. Fractious.
The word of the day is fractious. It's an adjective meaning unruly, unwilling to comply. Fractious. That's your word of the day, an adjective meaning unruly, unwilling to comply. Of course, let's use it in a sentence. Managing the fractious committee members was exhausting as they disagreed on almost every issue, or their fractious behavior at meetings often led to heated arguments and disruptions. Fractious. That's your word of the day. A word you certainly could incorporate in your vocabularies. Fractious. Yeah? That's your word of the day. Up next, the features at the top of the hour. We have the news.
When you're an exhausted parent with a demanding little one at home, anything that saves time or offers you a few extra minutes of sleep probably seems like an idea worth trying. That explains the temptation to leave a bottle of formula or breast milk in your child's crib. If they wake up hungry, they can just feed themselves, right? Self-service. Well, you might want to rethink that plan. In Parenting Tips today, 5 reasons not to give an infant a bottle in bed. A baby's access to a bottle in bed creates a list of potential problems, and we're not talking about cleaning spills or bedding or PJs. There are health concerns to consider. So how much harm can a bottle of formula or milk really do to your child if they grab it for a late night feeding? Far more than you'd think. Small areas in young children can make them prone to choking or gagging while drinking, especially if the fluid flows out faster than they can swallow. If you're holding your baby and feeding them, you can prop them up and take corrective action to help clear the airway if they start choking or coughing. A few gentle pats on the back usually helps. But if your baby is alone and lying on their back in bed, they may be unable to adjust on their own. That may lead to them breathing in the fluid and choking. If your infant dozes off in their crib while sucking on a bottle, odds are that they nod off with some formula or milk still in their mouth. Whatever they were drinking may pool around any just emerged teeth. That's bad news for those little pearly whites. There's a higher risk for tooth decay if a baby falls asleep with formula, milk, or some other drink containing sugar in their mouth. The reason? Sugary fluids that linger in the mouth break down into an acid that attacks tooth enamel, leading to deterioration. Babies who drink from a bottle in bed may also be more at risk of getting an ear infection. If a baby drinks while lying flat on their back, the fluid may flow into their escutcheon tubes and to their middle ear to cause an infection. Making a bottle part of your child's in-bed sleep routine can strengthen their feed to sleep association. You're basically turning a bottle into a comfort object that becomes required for sleeping. That dependency can make your baby's eventually night weaning and sleep training more difficult. Following the steps will ensure that your baby is always well fed and happy and make the best of bottle feeding and create a bond with your baby. That's it for parenting tips today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Attending staff meetings can be the most intimidating part of starting a new job. What do I say and what do I not say? When do I arrive? I'm Tana, and your Lifestyle Pages starts now. The environment of a meeting requires some careful navigation to maintain your professional image, whether the meetings are one-on-one, with several colleagues, or with external clients. For a meeting in someone's office, don't arrive more than 5 minutes early, as they may be prepping for your meeting, another meeting later that day, or trying to get other work done. You may make them uncomfortable, and that is not a good way to begin your meeting. Don't arrive late, ever. If you're going to be late, try to let someone know so that people are not sitting around waiting for you. Don't forget that being on time for a meeting means arriving 5 minutes early, and for an interview, arrive 10 minutes early. When a meeting runs late and you need to be somewhere else, always be prepared to explain where you need to be, understanding that the value of where you need to be will likely be judged. Do not interrupt people. This is a bad habit to start and a tough one to end. There's a time and place for confrontation, and a meeting is almost never the place. You will embarrass and anger other people, and you will look bad for doing it. Give people time and space outside of meetings to reflect on issues that need to be dealt with. So watch the clock and don't be late. That was your Lifestyle Pages. I'm Tana.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
From Negril Point to Morant Bay, a little kindness can go a far way. The time by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
26 degrees Celsius in both Kingston and Montego Bay.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Friday, August 2, 2024. Vybz Kartel's lawyers say the case holds major lessons for the justice system. More than 200 schools in hard-hit Hurricane Beryl parishes are still without power, and the National Security Minister praises the police force for recent Negril operation. In international news, 3 Americans freed in a prisoner swap deal with Russia.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Attorneys in the Vybz Kartel case, Bert Samuels and John Clark, say there are major lessons for the justice system following Wednesday's ruling. Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, walked out of the Tower Street Correctional Facility a free man after spending 13 years behind the bars. His former co-defendants, Sean Storm Campbell, Andre St. John and Kahira Jones, were also acquitted of the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. We have more in this report from Shalois Michael.
Bert Samuels, who previously represented Sean Storm, says the court's first error was continuing the trial despite allegations of jury tampering.
I think that the DPP who imposed herself in the chambers, she was not a member of the prosecution team and misled the judge, ought to have known better not to encourage the judge, who was a senior judge and himself should have known, to continue the case with Juror X, who was alleged to have been bribing the others. The lesson from that is the prosecution has a duty to see that justice is done. It's not win or lose for them. The Constitution says that the arm of the state in the form of the prosecution must protect the rights of persons on trial. So the lesson from that is, and I say this to young members of the DPP's office, do not seek a victory which will be short-lived and make you look as unconstitutional as that now look in retrospect.
The trial was plagued with several jury-related issues, but despite the allegations, it continued for more than 60 days. It concluded with the 4 men being convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. The then convicts appealed the sentence. Their appeal was rejected in 2020. However, the men pressed ahead, appealing to Jamaica's final court, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. In March this year, the Privy Council ruled that they had been denied a fair trial and overturned their convictions. The law lords ordered the local court of appeal to determine whether a retrial should be held. And on Wednesday, that court determined that a retrial would not be in the interest of justice. Mr. Samuels says it should not have taken the Privy Council to overturn the convictions.
I was particularly disappointed when the Court of Appeal did not accept in Jamaica the arguments that we had presented in relation to that jury point. And it led to another court having to make pronouncements and make our domestic cleaners unable to give justice.
Attorney at law John Clark says the justice system has several cases up for retrial that are yet to get underway. He says there's a dire need for such cases to be examined.
There's a Jamaican citizen who's waiting for 20 years for his trial in relation to allegations of murder, which took place 20 years ago, to be completed. 10 years ago, a retrial was ordered by the Court of Appeal, and that matter still stands before the Jamaican justice system, awaiting to be heard. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned, especially from those situations. There's a need for an examination of the system by which we have retrial to ensure that other Jamaican citizens who may be poor, who may not have the resources to again engage for a retrial, don't have to spend too lengthy a time waiting on retrial.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, John Clark says based on his experience working with the men, it's unlikely they'll seek legal recourse.
At the appropriate time, they will engage whatever team they decide is just and may decide if they ultimately want to move on with this. But I can tell you one thing. After 13 years in the criminal justice system, I would have, from my experience speaking with them, realized that they're very tired of engaging the court system. So I'll be a bit surprised. But if they have the strength or find the strength to bring civil action in relation to nightmare for the last 13 years, because at some point in time they're just tired, as I've heard on many occasions, of engaging Jamaica's inefficient, in their view, court system.
John Clark, attorney at law. More than 200 schools across the island which lost power during the passage of Hurricane Beryl have yet to be reconnected to the national grid. That's according to the Ministry of Education and Youth. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams made the argument during the post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday.
We are assessing schools for electricity, water, and telecommunication services. To date, we continue to assess the network of schools across Jamaica. We note that 223 schools have not been reconnected yet to the JPS system. This represents approximately 22% of our schools. We've compiled and sent this information within the last 2 days to the minister to bring to the attention of JPS.
Minister Williams says the majority of affected institutions are located in regions 4 and 5. Those are Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Manchester and St. Elizabeth. Despite the outage, the minister is urging school principals to begin cleanup work no later than Monday, August 12.
We will be meeting with our board chairs and principals again this week because we want our schools to begin the cleanup early. Usually it's a week or two before school that the normal cleanup or paint up would start. We want our schools to start earlier. We're asking our principals to begin no later than Monday, August 12th, just in case in the process of the cleanup items are discovered that need to be replaced or restored. And so we're asking for this earlier deployment. We are ensuring grants to our schools are processed earlier than normal. The regions have some financial resources to help with minor repairs as well.
Meanwhile, Minister Williams says repairs have begun at some schools severely damaged by Beryl.
In terms of the priority schools, you can see, I think, only 25 of those schools that we have to do some work to complete. We have to finalize the assessment on those in order to be able to deploy the contractors. So we are well on our way with the priority 1 schools in the time we have left to ensure that they are ready for September 2nd. And for those schools in priority 2 and 3, work will be done during the school year while school is in session.
Education Minister Favour Williams, she says close to 44,000 students attend the 94 schools which have been hardest hit by Beryl. She says 89 contractors have so far been identified to begin repair work, 19 of whom have already gotten their work underway. The Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, says the recent police operation in Negril, in which 4 gunmen were killed, is one example of the skill and the tactical capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. The minister was speaking at a handing over ceremony of motor vehicles to the JCF on Wednesday. He commended the police for disrupting another criminal organization.
The police demonstrated their full operation capacity, intelligence, skill, and effective implementation and execution of interrupting one of the most organized and dangerous criminal group operating in Jamaica, and took out a number of them. They challenged the police, and of course, the police, as I've said elsewhere, they are trained to protect not only society but themselves, and a number of them left us, but they also, based on the quality of the work they had done in preparing for that event, were able to detain another 6 who were involved, and therefore start the process of disrupting a very organized and desperate gang in the country. And I am sure as they pursue the investigation and prosecution, they are likely to apprehend some more.
The daylight shootout took place in Negril, Westmoreland on July 26. It's understood the men intended to rob a beryllium courier. However, they were intercepted by the counter-terrorism and organized crime branch of the JCF. At the end of the gun battle, 4 gunmen lay dead and 1 was seriously injured. 6 high-powered rifles were seized. Dr. Chang says the weapons indicate the level to which criminals are armed.
The actual operation demonstrates what can happen, that the police, while carrying out their very crucial duty, is always at risk. The men were carrying, as armed as any military operation, military team operated with assault rifles, automatic weapons, and they did not carry them for show. If the men were not trained to operate effectively and efficiently, you could have had additional activities there. But let me just say, we're very happy there was no casualty to the police force, and we were able to begin the process of disrupting some very dangerous criminals in the island.
Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says the 40 new vehicles handed over on Wednesday will go a far way in improving the mobility and response time of the police force.
Is essential in responding effectively to citizens' need for policing services, and our ability to consistently deliver timely response is critical to effective policing. In enhancing our visibility in communities, other public spaces, and all roadways, these vehicles will advance our commitment to citizens' safety and help us to create communities and a nation that are resilient to crime and disorder.
The vehicles are valued at over $313 million, and Dr. Blake says they'll be deployed across police formations island-wide.
They come at an opportune time to be deployed to our highway patrols island-wide as we continue to scale up our presence, particularly on our major thoroughfares, to provide reassurance and peace of mind for the law-abiding citizens as they go about their businesses. And with these additional highway patrol vehicles, we can make our roadways safe again. We recognize the responsibility to safely and strategically use these assets to maintain law and order by actively intercepting and engaging those whose sole intent is to disrupt and cause mayhem. To these persons, the other area of focus for these vehicles is yours. Our area fugitive apprehension team and our operational support team will be more mobile, more agile, and even more relentless in your pursuit and in curtailing your activities.
That's Dr. Kevin Blake, the police commissioner. Independent Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, George Wright, is lamenting the limited restoration of utilities in his constituency following the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July 3. In a statement on Thursday, Mr. Wright says several communities remain without essential services such as electricity, water, and in some cases, telecommunications. These communities include Porter's Mountain, Welcome, Grange, Content, Tulsi Lane in Georges Plain, as well as Cook Street and Wharf Road in Savannah Lamar. He's calling on the relevant utility companies to expedite their efforts in the affected areas. He's also urging the government to fast-track the repair of affected thoroughfares to facilitate the delivery of essential supplies and services to impacted communities. The Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank has proposed a raft of measures to improve public road transportation in the region. It says increasing administrative capacity, implementing cashless payment systems and user information portals, as well as enhancing accessibility for vulnerable populations are part of a comprehensive and sustainable improvement framework. Overseas news now. 3 Americans who were freed in a prisoner swap deal with Russia, including the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, have arrived back on U.S. soil. The 32-year-old Gershkovich was one of 16 prisoners swapped for 8 Russian prisoners in what has been described as the biggest exchange since the end of the Cold War between Russia and the West. The exchange at an airfield in Turkey also included the release of former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan and Russian-American journalist Also Kurmasheva. After touching down at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, Gershkovich, Kurmasheva, and Whelan emerged from the jet to cheers from those on the tarmac. All 3 were greeted by U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris before they embraced their families. That's the news. And just before we finish the news, just to tell you that the lane draws have been made for the women's 100 meters semi-finals, and semi-final 1 has Rosemary Chukwuma from Nigeria, Bree Masters from Australia in lane 2, Emmanuel Lansiko from Great Britain in lane 3, Gina Mariam Basbitai from Gambia in lane 4, Shelley Ann Fraser Price in lane 5, Julian Alfred from St. Lucia in lane 6, Shakira Richardson from the United States in lane 7, Patricia van der Vecken from Luxembourg in lane 8, and Gladimar Torres from Puerto Rico in lane 9. So semi-final 1 has Shelley Ann Fraser Price, Julian Alfred, and Shakira Richardson in lanes 5, 6, and 7 respectively. Only 2. Well, the first 2 will qualify automatically for the final, and the next 2 fastest times from the 3 semifinals together. So the first 2 in each semifinal will qualify for the final automatically, and then when all the semifinals are done, they'll look at the next 2 fastest times. So to guarantee qualification from semifinal 1, Shelley Ann Fraser Price will have to either win or finish no worse than second. Otherwise, she'll have to wait to see the overall times and whether she gets through as one of the fastest losers. But we're not even worried about that, are we? Fraser Price, Alfred, Richardson, all together in semi-final 1. Semi-final 2 has Leah Bertrand in lane 1, Carolina Manasova in lane 2, Zoe Hobbs in lane 3, Daryl Nita in lane 4, Audrey LeDuc in lane 5, Tia Clayton is in lane 6, Twanisha Terry in lane 7, Gina Luken-Kemper in lane 8, and Delphine Nkansa in lane 9. So Tia Clayton drawn in lane 6 in semifinal 2. The big guns there, Daryl Nita, the Brit, in lane 4, Twanisha Terry, the American, in lane 7, and even Zoe Hobbs, the New Zealander, is also a formidable prospect. So Clayton has a tough path through to the semifinals, but I'm sure her rivals will look at her and say, well, she's a tough one to get past if they also want to reach the final. And then semifinal 3 has Zainab Dosso, lane 1, Rani Rosius in lane 2, Shashali Forbes is in lane 3, Melissa Jefferson is in lane 4, Dina Asher Smith is in lane 5, Eva Svoboda is in lane 6, Marie-Jose Talu Smith is in lane 7, Mojinga Kambunji is in lane 8, and Boglarka Takax is in lane 9. So Shashali Forbes is drawn with Melissa Jefferson, the training partner of Shakira Richardson, Dina Asher Smith, Marie-Jose Talu Smith, the fastest qualifier from round 1, and even Mojinga Kambunji. So this is very, very tough field for Shashali Forbes to get through from. So 3 semifinals in the women's 100 meters. The first 2 in each heat qualify automatically, And then the next 2 fastest finishers will take up the remaining 2 lanes in that final. That's the sports and that's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
We all have a champion spirit, a uniquely Jamaican spirit. We think the unthinkable and reach for the unreachable. The steady pulse of greatness beats in us all. As powerful as we are, there comes a time when everybody needs a strength. Something to take you over that last hurdle and across the finish line. Your moment is now. Unstoppable with NCB.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Ludlow, what's the story from the streets, my friend?
All right. Morning again, George, and all listeners or visitors. What's happening now, it's still a drizzle, and you can see the windshield wipers going there, keeping the car, so you have good vision and everything. It's still overcast, I should say. Lots of cumulus cloud and cumulus, strata. It's really there, and really relatively cool conditions. And the flow has increased in most areas. However, that area in the vicinity of Mountain View coming up is still pretty good going. Langston Road, Deanery Road, all these areas are really good. Those of you who are coming out of the Papine area, coming down towards Olop Road, all good. Mona Road, that road running parallel, going on to Monroe Road, coming from Wellington Drive, it's pretty good going. Going further down Olop Road, it's also steady. As a matter of fact, all of that area, Lady Musgrave Road, going across to Seaview Avenue, then back onto Olop Road, it's pretty good going. If you're coming across Trafalgar Road there, coming from as far as Waterloo to Trafalgar, there is increased vehicular flow there, building all the time. And I could say Oak Road also building, especially close to the Half a Tree Square area. Sorry. So second report until until Monday. Sorry. It's back to you, George.
Ludlow, I understand the struggle you're going through. Your voice undermining your efforts at the end. That's fine, my friend. That's fine. We heard you clearly.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So a good week's work done by Ludlow McLean. He returns on Monday morning. Up next, the front page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. 7:22 on the clock this Friday, August 2, 2024, brand new month. And with the track and field program underway at the Paris Olympics, Jamaicans are expectant that their men and women will give them something to be proud of over this holiday period. Also, other Caribbean interests will have their sights firmly focused on Paris. Julian Alfred, for one, will give St. Lucians hope that they can win their first Olympic medal. Before we get further with I want to say something on the track and field quickly at the top before we get into the front page, which deals with a very, very important matter, enslaved ancestor apology. We'll get into that in short order. Let me remind you of the draw for the semifinals of the women's 100 meters. This list is so very early that it's not even up on the websites just yet, so you won't find it there if you look now, but I have them thanks to my friend from Paris. And the semifinal one is like a final, because again, let me read for you in case you missed it. It has Rosemary Chukwuma from Nigeria in lane 1, Bree Masters from Australia in lane 2, Emmanuel Lansiko from Great Britain in lane 3, Gina Mariam Basbitai from Gambia in lane 4. This is where it gets tough now. Shelley and Fraser Price, Jamaica, lane 5, Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, lane 6, Shakira Richardson from the United States in lane 7, Patricia van der Veken from Luxembourg in lane 8, and Gladimar Torres from Puerto Rico in lane 9. Only the first two in this race will be guaranteed lanes in the final. Only the first two will be guaranteed lanes in the final. So Fraser Price, Alfred Richardson, one of those three will not get an automatic spot. She'll have to wait to see if she has one of the fastest losing times. Nervous wait, that is, to see if she will advance to the final. So that's semifinal 1, and as some people have said, that reads like a final lineup, and it does.
Absolutely.
Semifinal 2, Leah Bertrand, lane 1, Carolina Manasova, lane 2, Zoe Hobbs in lane 3, Daryl Nita in lane 4, Audrey LeDuc in lane 5, Tia Clayton is in lane 6, Twanisha Terry in lane 7, Gina Luken-Kemper in lane 8, and Delphine Encansa in lane 9. The big guns here, Daryl Nita certainly, Tia Clayton, Twanisha Terry, Audrey LeDuc, who just ran a national record for Canada in the first round, and Zoe Hobbs from New Zealand. All of those ladies, lanes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, will be racing for 2 automatic spots in that final. And then the third and final semifinal will have Zainab Dosso, Rani Rosius, Shashali Forbes, Melissa Jefferson, Dina Asher-Smith, Eva Svoboda, Marie-Josée Talou-Smith, Mujinga Kambunji, and Boglarka Takax. So 3 semifinal heats. The first 2 past the line will automatically qualify for the final, and then the next 2 fastest times advance. If this isn't an acid test, I don't know what an acid test is, Saeed.
Well. That semi-final though, that is like a final, is a serious one,
It does. It's a serious one.
I think, however, the quickest time will come from that race though. Well,
But
we
of
can
course.
hope. Let's see. Well, earlier this month, the Archbishop of Canterbury in the Church of England, Justin Welby, visited the island, that's Jamaica, to apologize for the church's role in the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans. He likened the role of the Church of England in chattel slavery to that of shepherds consuming their flock. Continuing the trend, the 2 descendants of a Scottish clan are here to apologize for their forefathers' role in chattel slavery. A.D. Walker and Kate Thomas, descendants of Neil Malcolm and Mary Johnson, his black housekeeper, attended the Emancipation Jubilee at the Seville Heritage Park in St. Anne on Thursday to apologize. At emancipation, their ancestors owned 10 properties for which they received compensation.
Among them, Argyll and Blenheim, which is the birthplace of the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante. Neil became a lawyer and by the 1840s had migrated to New Zealand, where Kate and A.D. now live. Kate and A.D. join us in studio, and on the phone we have historian and the director of the Center for Reparation Research at the University of the West Indies and vice chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, Professor Vereen Shepherd.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let me start with you first, Professor Shepherd. Set the context. We have 2 persons here with us and we've read some history about them, but certainly there's more you can tell us.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that all these apologies that are coming forward now fit into the CARICOM Reparations Commission 10-point plan, with apology being the first point. And so other things will follow after apology, and I'm glad to see the realization of the work that we're doing. And so many families have benefited from the proceeds of chattel enslavement in the Caribbean, and further enriched at emancipation for our ancestors when they got compensation. So we have been lobbying primarily for the state. So in this case, it will be England, or Britain, to settle the demand that we're making for reparatory justice. But in the meantime, the individual families, the descendants of those people who got the compensation money, who profited from enslavement, have been coming forward. And therefore, every step is welcome. And in this case, I was quite happy when I was approached and I got the email from Ida and Kate saying, what can we do and how can we be involved in this movement? So I welcome them, and, they will tell their own story and why they thought it important to be at Emancipation Jubilee this year.
Mm-hmm. So let me start with you then, Adi and Kate. I got you correct? Good. ID, right. So
hold on, side. I think we should just take that after the break so that we don't have to interrupt the ladies. This is Nationwide this morning. More after these.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:30.
Drive Hyundai. Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
$7:31. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're on the front page. We're joined by Adi and Kate, and of course Professor Vereen Shepherd on the lines with us. We're talking about reparations and slavery, and we have Kate and Adi joining us. Well, first of all, Adi, Kate, why do this? Why travel all the way from New Zealand to come to Jamaica to say you care oh so much about what has happened in the past and you want to apologize for it?
Well, I guess it's a big part of our own history, right? And we talked about this in our apology on Wednesday or Thursday morning, that our history is intertwined with your history and your history is intertwined with ours. And so it felt important to be here and to show up. We work a lot with, well, in my job back in New Zealand, I work with the Māori population in New Zealand, and a big part of working with Māori authentically is to show up and to do it face to face, and we felt that needed to happen in this case as well.
My partner's Māori and my daughter's Māori, so I live in a kind of a household where we're putting the language back into our family. It's been stripped out from them, and We're very much just like, we found out only 18 months ago about all this, by the way. So we didn't know. We only found out through, I did a DNA test, had Nigerian, told Kate, she's like, what? And she did some digging and we found out about all this. So it's moved quite fast. And we both just think, if we don't do it, we leave this for our children to find out that we didn't do anything.
We spoke with Vereen very early on about who would this serve? Like, would it just make us feel better? Or is this something that she felt the people of Jamaica would be open to and would want? And she said, absolutely. It's part of the CARICOM 10-point reparation plan, and the first one is apology. And so, we've been working with Professor Vereen Shepherd throughout the process, and she's really helped us with her historical research as well to help us to understand. So we're still learning about it.
Kate, I want to ask you first, and then I'll come to Heidi. The reaction of your family to your announcement that, look, guys, I think this will have utility, and I think I'm going to do it.
I think there was a bit of shock because not all of the history is known. So I think we have to meet everyone where they're at. Our auntie was super supportive and involved from the beginning, and our dad is now really interested and wants to come to Jamaica with us next time. So I think we're hoping that we can actually draw out more of the Malcolm family as well, so particularly the Scottish Malcolms.
We're not very connected with anyone in Scotland. We're barely connected with anyone in New Zealand.
So we're hoping that we can draw out more people, because for us, what we did at the Emancipation Jubilee was just the very, very beginning.
Yeah. Heidi, for you, your family's reaction?
Like my immediate family? I mean, he's just a bit like, you need to do this. Because Māori are like, they know their great-grandfathers, they're connected, they know every injustice that happened to them by the colonisers. And now to find out that we colonise them with money from slavery is just shocking. And we know that this is many more families in New Zealand and Australia that probably don't know. Some will know and be a bit like, and then we're just hoping that this creates more conversation.
Yeah, Katie, I'm fascinated because, Kate, your family's history in slavery, do you know where they had their slave holdings, how many slaves they had? Tell us about that.
So Clan Malcolm, so it was quite a big family, so it was about 3 generations worth of involvement in slavery, so over about 80 years. And lots of the Malcolm family were out here, and over that time... And Vereen,
you mean here in Jamaica?
Yeah, in Jamaica, just in Jamaica. And Vereen will have all of the exact details, but I think over that time they owned about 12 different plantations, most of which were in the Hanover parish. And we were most interested in our our 4th great-grandfather, John Malcolm, who was the owner of Argyle Estate at the time of the Argyle Uprising, which was 200 years ago.
Yes. And for you, Heidi, where, if at all, in Jamaica did your family have slave holdings, or where else in the Caribbean did they have their slave holdings?
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
Right. Oh, so it's the same family. There you go. Same family. Here's the Professor Shepherd, Argyle and Blenheim, I read in the brief. Which other recognizable place would the Malcolm holdings cover in Jamaica?
Well, those were the principal plantations, but there are other places named, with their names because of their influence. For example, there's a Malcolm Bridge. So we have that. But the other issue is that the Argyle War is really the episode in our history that I think touched the lives of our ancestors in Hanover, because 6 men were executed, a few were pardoned, but it was really a terrible episode in our history. 1824, we have the trial documents in the Center for Reparations Research. So we know the full story. And when we talk about the tragedies for which people must apologize, this one springs forward, like the final Emancipation War in 1831-32. Because in that war also, some people from Argyle and other plantations owned by the Malcolms were fighting, and some of them were also executed. So I know it's a lot for the family to swallow because of, the recent discovery, but the reparation movement requires that these apologies are made and that they are followed, because reparations is not just about apology. It's about what you then do once you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the next step, I'm sure, that the family is contemplating.
And what would that next step be? Let me ask you first of all, Professor Shepherd, what does that next step look like based on the 10-point plan you outlined by CARICOM?
So what we are in the conversation with all the families, and by the way, it wasn't only Kate and ID who apologized, and they were accompanied, by the way, by Laura Trevelyan, who has been leading the movement for the descendants of enslavers. She was also there. But on video, there were apologies from Robin Wedderburn, descendant of John Wedderburn of Spring Garden and St. Marylebone. They had plantations in Hanover and Westmoreland. Then the Gladstones, Charlie Gladstone had apologized in Guyana, and now he turned his attention to Jamaica. You also had Rosemary Harrison, Mecklenburg, and several others, including the Guardian newspaper, who, they are looking to engage in reparatory actions at Success Plantation in Hanover.
Yeah.
So reparations involve monetary compensation,
right?
And that discussion will now take place at the National Council on Reparations, Jamaica. And in their apology, they did say they will work with the National Commission on Reparations for the next step.
Hear you. Ladies, I'm keen to know, what, if anything, did you know about the transatlantic slave trade and just in general? And I ask in this context. We here in the Caribbean, we're taught about the glorious work of William Wilberforce and Francis Drake and all of these great white men and the places they conquered. Our history, you learn that, by the way, in your own time, in your own endeavors, and it's just a footnote. So I wanted to know, in your learning, how much of the transatlantic slavery and what happened here in the Caribbean, people taken from Africa brought here, how much of that did you know about?
Nothing. And
12 years a slave.
American movies. The civil rights movement. That was it in New Zealand, though, because I also didn't know who William Wilberforce was
we weren't
until about 18
him.
months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So in the New Zealand context, we don't really learn that history.
Mm-hmm. In school? No.
We know it's wrong. I think we probably touch on it. I think I did first year at university, we talked about it. Mm-hmm. But and I think I had a professor that was not the pro-white guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the opposite. But I think we just knew general ideas, and we just honestly, I'd feel so many feelings and so sad about it, but not feel like it was our responsibility or anything to do with us.
And you spoke of 12 Years a Slave. There are several Hollywood movies, and of course these movies are huge around the world, where the wrongs of slavery were depicted. As you said, 12 Years a Slave, in my head came a picture of Jaimon Hunsu, and I'm thinking of Amistad and movies like that. So is it fair to say that in passing you would have seen things about slavery, transatlantic slave trade, only in the movies or in some reference in popular culture here and there?
Yeah, until recently, and now we listen to podcasts on it, and we're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's been like doing a master's thesis with Professor Vereen over the last little while, because we've really dived into the history and understanding,
and even the big pardon me saying, even the civil rights figures in the United States, Frederick Douglass and Nate Turner, and so many of the Sojourner Truth, so many of the ladies, the men and women of civil rights USA, you didn't hear?
No. But that'd be more like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Black Panther movement, that's in New Zealand, like we're Polynesian Panthers.
Yes.
And so yes, but more America. America dominates everything.
And that's why I'm using the American example.
Yeah.
What I found interesting, though, looking at your background, is that your descendants, not just Malcolm, but Malcolm was intertwined with a slave herself. And from then the line came from. What's your family's reaction to finding that out? About 18 months ago, as you say, that you are descendants of not only a slave owner but an enslaved.
I mean, it's fascinating. We're probably not the only people as well. So, this may draw out others with that history. My sister was very excited because she, funnily enough, has been obsessed with Bob Marley and the Rastafari movement since she was about 6 years old, which is weird, right?
Like, we're like, now I'm like, I did projects in Jamaica 2 years in a row, and the teacher said, please choose another country, and I said no, and I was a child, and I had a Bob Marley obsession, but I've sort of got over it. But so this was honestly quite weird, because I was like, why did I have that?
It makes sense now.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
Yeah. But honestly, we do have some family that were a bit like, we're like kind of pulling out the racist family. We're like, we didn't know that they had,
Yeah.
But our dad, honestly, our father he actually has always gone like in the summer, just gone so brown. And we've always had it's like been a running thing. And we're like, now it's very interesting looking back at the line. We're like,
and looking at Alexander
Bustamante.
Yeah,
our family looked like him.
Like
very similar facial structure.
Has it ever, in your consciousness, ladies, in your experience, has it ever, I don't want to say bothered, but has it ever occupied your mind why blacks anywhere around the world, notwithstanding the fact that you weren't deeply immersed in the history, but why blacks in the world are so sensitive about perceived biases against them and prejudices against them, and them being the underclass and white people being the master and ruler? Has it ever bothered you, this dynamic between black and white, in your own experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a slightly different experience in New Zealand, but with the Māori population, so the indigenous population,
and Pacific Islanders,
the Pacifica population in New Zealand is a similar dynamic that plays out. And I work in an area of sort of social justice, so I work with a lot of people in that space and learn a lot through them, and yes, it bothers me, deeply bothers me.
My partner suffers racism all the time. We're always like, don't wear a hoodie, got your glasses on, like we see what happens for me and what him, I'm relaxed about things that he's not relaxed about. So yeah, all the time. And honestly, I've been angry about it since I've been a little girl, and I just didn't know why. Yeah.
Wow. All right, we're getting to that point. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to give the ladies space to articulate in their own words what they want to say for the role of their families in the enslavement of people. And it's for them to make that statement in the way that they feel most comfortable. After the break.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own, and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:46.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is...
It's 27 degrees here in capital city Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best, you are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome, that's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way. You got the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
At Design Privacy, we value relationships. Join our exclusive open DPO community and interact with privacy professionals. Share ideas, insightful challenges, and build career-boosting connections with expert advice at your fingertips. Get access to specialized tools, exclusive workshops, and case studies. Enjoy unparalleled networking. Join Design Privacy's open DPO community to expand your expertise and excel in your career. Visit opendpocommunity.com today and take your data privacy skills to the next level.
747. You are witnessing a very significant piece of radio, if I may say so, Saeed. We are in the studio with sisters Heidi Walker and Kate Thomas. They are descendants of a Scottish clan, and they are here to apologize for their forefathers' role in chattel slavery. Their ancestors owned 10 properties for which they received compensation, among them Argyll and Blenheim, which is the birthplace Blenheim is of the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante. You know who he is. Kate and Heidi are here largely because of the work of Professor Vereen Shepherd, historian and the director of the Center for Reparation Research at the UWI. She's also vice chair of CARICOM's Reparations Commission. They have a 10-point plan as they move towards to completing the reparation loop, and this is one point in that plan. And the ladies are here in the slipstream of the visit of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Webley. He visited the island and he apologized for the church's role in the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans, likening the role of the Church of England in chattel slavery to that of shepherds consuming their flock. Ladies, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to say that through this process, I'm a filmmaker back home, and I was trying to think what I could do about this whole thing. So I'm joining with a Jamaican filmmaker who's with me at the moment. We're making a film about apology and exploring apology. And one of the other reasons we're doing it is Laura Trevelyan, who has also apologised previously, and that's kind of the reason we knew what to do. We're like, how do we do it? She also made something and it reached so much of her family. And I feel like for us, not only do we want to reach family in Scotland and New Zealand and through Britain, but also to alert New Zealand and Australia to the fact that we have so many people that have descended and benefited from enslavers and potentially from enslavers, and for people to understand that these nations were colonized with slave money. So that's kind of what my contribution currently is that we've been working on this, and we will continue to and we want this to reach as many people as possible. But as well as that,
and I just want to say a massive thank you to Professor Vereen Shepherd and her team for really hand-holding us through this entire process.
And Shane Robinson.
And they've really helped us to understand the history from their perspective. And so we've really passed everything to them to guide us in terms of the knowledge that they have and what next. We are going to be speaking with the New Zealand government to see if they can reopen their physical office in the Caribbean. So it was closed just around the COVID time, and so there's not a physical presence. So we'd love to see greater intergovernmental relations between New Zealand and the Caribbean, and Jamaica in particular, and also get them to note the 10-point plan and to just understand that there is a history. New Zealand probably don't think that there's a relationship with the transatlantic slave trade, and to understand that there is a history and there is a connection, and that the wealth created by the British government helped to colonise New Zealand, as well as enabling a lot of descendants of enslavers to move to places like New Zealand and Australia. And then just to say, look, we have been absolutely welcomed. We were really unsure about what the reception would be, but we have been welcomed with open arms, and I think it's just been the most incredible experience the last few days. Yeah.
Well, the floor is yours to apologise.
Yeah. Would you like us to read the apology?
By all means.
Okay, should we do that? Okay. Thanks. To the people of Jamaica. We, the undersigned, write to apologise for the actions of our ancestors, Clan Malcolm of Argyll, Scotland, for their role in the enslavement of Africans within Jamaica. We acknowledge the deep suffering and injustice inflicted upon your ancestors by our forebears, and we recognise the lasting impact of these atrocities on Jamaica. Chattel slavery was and is a crime against humanity. We are grateful to the researchers and historians who have brought to light the full extent of Clan Malcolm's activities in Jamaica, specifically on Argyll Estate, which was owned by the Malcolms and is of great significance to the legacy of chattel enslavement in Jamaica. The Argyll War in 1824 took place 200 years ago on Argyll and surrounding estates Golden Grove and Alexandria, and resulted in 12 men being executed for fighting for their freedom. We acknowledge the wealth created by our ancestors through the chattel enslavement of your ancestors, and the injustice of financial compensation paid by the British government to the enslavers. The enduring and damaging legacy of this injustice continues to the present day. We apologise most sincerely to the surviving descendants of the enslaved from Clan Malcolm plantations for the continuing impact on their daily lives, their health and their well-being. The legacy of British chattel enslavement of Africans extends to New Zealand. The economic benefits derived from chattel slavery contributed to the financial and imperial strength of Britain, which in turn supported its colonisation activities worldwide, including New Zealand.
We take this opportunity to also let you know that we will be asking the New Zealand Government to acknowledge these historical links to injustices that took place in the wider Caribbean, and to note CARICOM's 10-point plan for reparatory justice. We plan to encourage the New Zealand Government to reopen its physical High Commission in the Caribbean to strengthen intergovernmental ties. We share a history as descendants of both enslavers and the enslaved. Our history is intertwined with your history, and your history is intertwined with ours. We stand here as a descendant of Mary Johnson, our fourth great-grandmother, who was of African descent and a housekeeper in the Malcolm family. We are deeply upset to know so little of Mary's life circumstances and experience, but wish to honour her memory through our actions henceforth. We make a personal commitment tonight, today, this morning, every day, to work with the National Council on Reparations in Jamaica to find constructive ways to move from apology to concrete actions of repairing injustice, including in the communities in which the Malcolms had plantations. Signed by the New Zealand descendants of George Malcolm, his son John Malcolm, who was the owner of Argyll Estate, and then it's our dad, our auntie, us, and our children, and our cousin.
Yeah. Well, it's in the context of things, it's a small gesture, but it's very important. And it's brave, bold of you ladies to take this step, but also very necessary. You don't need me to tell you that. And I congratulate you. And for what it's worth, Nationwide 90 FM thanks you for the apology that you have advanced on behalf of those from your family, your forefathers, foreparents, who were involved in the enslavement of the people brought here. Thank you very much
for having
that.
us here.
Yes,
No
problem. Yes.
Could I just say a last word?
Yeah, Professor, we weren't done, we were coming to you.
Okay. I just thought you had forgotten about
No, man, no, not at all. Couldn't do that.
Never.
Go ahead.
I just wanted Jamaicans to keep in their heart those enslaved Africans who suffered at the hands of enslavers, including specifically from Argyll in that war. And by the way, during this 1831-32 war led by Samuel Sharp, those who were in jail before they were hanged testified that since Argyll, they wanted to jump off again, but the circumstances were not right. So when you want to know what happened in a particular war, go back to the one before. Mm-hmm. And you realize that they were planning all along. So 1831-32 was not buck up.
Yes.
Some people, the way in which traditional historians tell it, that's not the true story. Now that we have the testimonies, we know that they knew about Argyll, many of them, and they were planning from then on. And I want us to honor those who were hanged after the Argyll War. Edward Jarrett, John Nesbitt, Dougal Campbell, Philip Davidson Brown, William Moody, and William Wright, right there on the mill yard at Argyll. And others were transported off the island. And you know what is so terrible? When enslaved Africans were executed or transported off, meaning deported, sent away, the planters got money for them. So when we talk about compensation, it's not just what they got in 33, but also what they got when people were executed. And then you had asked earlier on about other plantations. So it was Alexandria, Argyle Estate and Argyle Pen, Blenheim, Nakalva Pen, New Paradise Estate, New Retrieve, Pell River Estate, Retirement Pen, Retrieve Estate, Old Works, Ruther Glen, as it was called. And the final thing I wanted, so those were some of the plantations, not just, well, these were specific to Neil Malcolm.
Yes.
But many others were owned by the entire clan. I want to say that the apology was well received at Seville on,
at the Heritage Park, yes.
In the early morning of August 1. And we look forward to the action because, as I said, reparations require action, and they have agreed to that. But I also want to appeal to ID and Kate, not just to lobby in New Zealand, but also Scotland, because we have been lobbying to get back the Dick Trust, because an enslaver and a trafficker named Dick established a trust, but the money came from Jamaica. And children in Scotland are benefiting from this through education, through the trust. Our children need back that money. So I'm asking them to also lobby Scotland. We have written, but no positive response has come back.
Yeah. Professor, just lastly, was there ever like a Malcolm Penn or something like that, a community named eponymously for Neil or any member of the family?
No, but you do have the Keep Left Bridge, which really was called Malcolm Bridge. But the community itself didn't get the name. They still have the name of the plantation or the pen, which is a livestock farm, as we know, a pen.
Right.
But the evidence is there in the knowledge of very old people in the various communities. And I really have to thank O'Shane Robinson, who helped with some of the research for us. And we look forward to further communication and interaction
Prof, quickly
with the family.
Quickly, Prof, there are other places that might have the names of slave owners. Do we plan to do anything about that?
Yes, there are, I mean, within Jamaica. Yes, the research indicates that, of course, there are other places, Star Pen and Star Post, for example, and so on.
Yeah. All right.
But in this case, not many of them retain the Malcolm name. But we do have the list of names of enslaved Africans, and some of the Malcolms in Hanover and in Jamaica today would have come from that clan.
Very well. ID Walker, Kate Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. Professor Vereen Shepherd, a pleasure as always. And you've heard it, ladies and gentlemen, the apology from the descendants of former enslavers.
And let me acknowledge our filmmaker in studio. Your name, Miss? Gabrielle? Gabrielle Blackwood, who's here filming away. Thank you very much, Gabrielle. ID, Kate, thank you. Prof, all the best. Thank you.
Yes, and by the way, I have demitted office now as chair or director of the Center for Reparations Research.
Yes.
It's my Emancipation Day. It was my Emancipation Day yesterday.
Yes.
And I welcome Dr. Sonia Stanley Naya, who's taking over.
All right, Mom. Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay.
All right, good.
All right, bye-bye.
Across Jamaica comes up now. Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales. For a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:02.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Time now for across Jamaica on this Friday. Approximately 2,000 residents in St. Mary are expected to benefit from the $173 million Mason Hall pipeline project. Work on the pipeline is set to begin this month. The project is being undertaken by the National Water Commission and Rural Water Supply Limited and will see the installation of over 7 kilometers of pipeline, pump and electrical equipment, including a lift station, will also be installed. When completed, the system will bring water to Salmon Hill, Kidland, Marsontown, Banjo Hill, and Mason Hall. The project is phase one of the much larger Mason Hall water supply system project that will cost approximately $900 million. At the groundbreaking ceremony at Mason Hall Primary, the Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, said the project is the result of years of lobbying from political representatives. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has signed an agreement with the United States Trade and Development Agency to undertake a study on the impact of reverse osmosis technology. Reverse osmosis is a multi-stage water filtration process that can be used to transform seawater into potable water. The study is being facilitated through a $61 million technical assistance grant and will be undertaken at 13 NEPA-approved reverse osmosis sites across the island. The work will also examine the reverse osmosis systems being utilized in at least 4 international jurisdictions to determine whether best practices in these territories can be adopted in Jamaica at the industrial or municipal scale and inform the permitting process. The undertaking was formalized during a grant agreement signing ceremony at NEPA's Caledonia Avenue office in Crossroads on Wednesday. The agreement was signed by Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, and the U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica, Nick Perry. That's across Jamaica this morning.
Attention all commuters, your JUTC fares just got lower. Use your Smarter card today and pay only $50. Yes, only $50. Travel safe and hassle-free with the JUTC using your Smarter card. But wait, there's more. Get 3 free rides with your first Smarter card top-up before May 31. With your Smarter card, paying your fare is easier. Say goodbye to coins and hello to hassle-free travel. Don't miss this opportunity when you travel with the JUTC, your route to excellence. Conditions apply.
Together we're our people standing strong. 3 million Jamaicans, let's work as one. Such a course and work with a plan. Proud and tall, let's make the whole world understand. Every Jamaican have the heart of a champion. Such a core, big up with champions. Watch my style, watch my skill, watch my flow. Standing out anywhere where we go. Many goals, many dreams, many strides. All the black, green and gold, and we pride. Proud and tall, let's make the whole world understand. We are strong when we are one, Sagicor, celebrating Jamaican success.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
Welcome back. I read a definition for reverse osmosis in the Across Jamaica segment. Want to adjust that because, of course, reverse osmosis is a water purification process that removes ions, not iron, but ions, unwanted molecules, and larger particles from drinking water using a partially permeable membrane. Now, if you remember your science definitions from high school, diffusion, you know what diffusion is, George's man?
From a Yeah, when things move from a high level of concentration to a lower level of concentration.
I know what osmosis is, right?
Yes, through a permeable membrane.
Aye, true. The St. George's
Cool,
College.
man.
St. George's College. So yeah, so reverse osmosis, water purification process to remove ions and unwanted molecules from water. All right, we are turning now to a matter concerning education and an announcement recently that the ministry is in talks, advanced talks, to get teachers from overseas, to recruit them to fill vacancies created by the migration of teachers. The announcement was made by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Casson Troop, at the recent post-cabinet media briefing. 854 teachers left the system between January and September last year. Dr. Troop says the foreign recruits are willing, they appear willing, to accept these salaries on offer, the emoluments. She used the word emoluments on offer here, and we're getting a reaction from the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having me. I trust you're hearing me at this time.
Loud and clear and healthy. Sounds like you had a healthy breakfast.
Well, I've been up since, I'm in another time zone. So, I've been up all morning.
There you go, sir. All right. So you're react for us to this announcement that the talks to engage teachers from abroad are well advanced to bring them to plug the gaps created by your members who've gone to seek greener pastures.
Thanks for having me again. The fact is, the matter of teacher migration and the teacher shortage is a global pandemic right now. I term it like that. At the Education International World Congress that is currently on its final day, the world needs 44 million teachers. This is where we are. And this has been a major talking point here at the EI conference, the teacher shortage and what needs to be done in order for countries to retain its brightest and most capable individuals to advance the country. The bottom line is, for us as a nation, I believe this is a sad day for us. Jamaica has 10 or at least 10 teacher training institutions. And with 10 teacher training institutions, I believe our nation is equipped with the necessary facilities to train teachers to fill the gaps within our nation, within our classrooms. What needs to happen is that our teachers need to be paid and paid well. That is the bottom line. I believe at this point, instead of importing teachers, our conversation should be about strategies how to retain our teachers here, strategies to improve the working conditions of our members, strategies to ensure that job satisfaction for our teachers would be significantly improved, where they are now in a position to successfully and adequately taking care of their families, improving their standards of living, owning their homes. These are the reasons our members are leaving. And we, as a nation, I still don't think we have realized the gravity of this issue. I don't think we are at this point admitting to ourselves what it is that we need to do to stem this massive exodus, to stem the hemorrhaging of our teachers at this time. And from our position at the Jamaica Teachers Association, we are simply saying importing teachers perhaps is not necessarily the right response at this time. Pay our teachers well, improve the conditions of service. Let's talk about strategies to retain our members' services so that, going forward, we can have the most competent and effective educators in our classroom. This is where it is at this point.
Mr. Johnson, I hear you, but let me ask you this. 800 odd teachers have left the system last year between January and September. So obviously there is a void that needs to be filled come September. The strategies to keep teachers and to train teachers obviously will not get us those teachers for September. So what do you suggest the ministry does in the interim to fill the gaps immediately as is necessary for the school system?
And while I understand and appreciate those sentiments, we're going to be here next year if we do not start having the right conversations. We as administrators, we indicated to the ministry long ago that there is a major challenge. We indicated to the ministry some 2-3 years ago that there is a massive exodus of teachers. Had we started the conversations from that time or even before, then we perhaps would be in a better state at this point. The fact is that
Mr. Johnson, I agree.
Recruiting teachers.
Right.
Hold just a second. The whole matter of recruiting teachers or having foreign teachers in our jurisdiction is not a new phenomenon. This is something that was in existence before. Foreign teachers, Cubans, Guyanese teachers were in our classrooms before. So I guess this is something that they are reverting to. What needs to happen is a long-term fix to this issue where our teachers are given that incentive, that motivation to remain on our shores and plying their trades within our classrooms.
So let me ask you this then, Mr. President. So you're not opposed to it happening, to the importation of teachers short term then, recognizing that there's a need now. What I'm hearing is that the JHA would much prefer, though, a pursuance of a long-term solution in the interim,
certainly,
notwithstanding.
And that's the direction. And again, the ministry has found themselves yet again in this position. We had Cuban teachers in our classrooms before. We had some teachers from Guyana in our classrooms before. So this is something that we are reverting to. But again, as you rightly said, we need to now fix this issue. This is an issue that is going to be a perennial one if we do not get it right, if we do not admit to ourselves and to the nation that our teachers need to be compensated adequately.
Question for you, Mr. Johnson. At the event that you're currently at now, because you're at that conference, aren't you?
I am.
Okay. For the many other countries that you've told us have the same problem, why are they having the problem?
And the fact is, the overarching issue is that teachers are poorly compensated in many jurisdictions. In the larger jurisdictions, the jurisdictions that have even less teacher training institutions, these jurisdictions pay their teachers well. And in some regard, the reasons for teachers leaving the classroom in those jurisdictions is not the same as the reason for our teachers leaving. There are teachers who never returned to the classroom after COVID, teachers who went into other industries, teachers who moved to other areas.
I'm sure you would have looked at those jurisdictions similar to ours,
certainly,
who, because of the conditions that you know so very well here, their teachers are leaving for the same reasons. Is that a large number of
It is significant. As I indicated, we are now 44 million teachers short across the world. It is a major issue, to the extent that there are some jurisdictions who go to the extent of trying to block their teachers from leaving their shores. We've heard stories of teachers trying to come to this World Congress who were blocked from leaving their shores and who had to go through great lengths to indicate that they will return. They had to sign contracts to say they are not going overseas to ply their trade. They will return. They are simply attending this World Congress. So the fact is,
countries have legislated or put in travel restrictions on teachers for fear that they won't come back?
There you go. This is the extent. Countries who can be compared to our economy, these are some of the extents that they are going just to ensure is that for the start of the new school term, there are teachers there to fill the void, So it is an overarching issue right across the world. Teachers need to be paid
on the point of pay,
comparable to the other
on the point of pay,
first world jurisdictions.
On the point of pay, Mr. Johnson, would you agree that the relativity of the issue bears examination? And this is what I mean. You can say, when I say you, people can say that teachers in any jurisdiction are poorly paid, but when you look at the ability of the economy to pay them more, then that ability is compromised, is curtailed. So, but you still say poorly paid, as opposed to a jurisdiction where the ability to pay is greater, but they still are not paid to the level that the economy has the ability to pay them. Which of those two broad groups would you say Jamaica falls in?
I think Jamaica is in the broad category of having the ability to pay our teachers well, pay our teachers better. I believe over the years as a nation, the group of individuals who have sacrificed the most are public sector teachers, public sector workers on a whole. Anytime there's an austerity or austerity measures being promoted, teachers are asked to hold strain. We hear on so many fronts of how well the economy is doing, how stable our economy is doing, the international outlook on our economy. We hear all of this. Now it is time for this to be reflected in the bank accounts of our members. You see, following the last compensation review, our teachers were so depressed coming into this compensation review process that even with the movement we received, it still did not allow teachers to be in a position to, one, if you are single, to purchase a house on the open market. We have to get to that place where any teacher, whether married or single, can comfortably afford a house on the open market. We are not there yet in our jurisdiction, and this is what we're saying. Having heard and read the reports, having heard the international reports on how well our economy is doing, how viable we are, how we have bounced back, how we are on the rise, I believe as a nation, we are in the category of being able to pay our teachers better.
Would you agree that the same argument that you're making so eloquently for your constituents in the JTA, that every leader of a bargaining unit or a trade union across the public sector would be able to say the same thing, and then you have a compounding of the budget problem that the government would face to give your members that ability to buy a house on their own, and that's when the compromised ability to pay becomes a real thing, Mr. Johnson? You would agree?
The fact is, or look at it from our perspective, again, I'm going to refer what I alluded before. It is the public sector workers of this nation who always sacrifice and compromise.
But it's obvious why, because
no,
hold on, let me just interject. I'm saying that yeah, man, you've made the argument, so just we're reasoning. So I'm saying, of course, the public sector worker is the one who would be asked to take up a hit in times of austerity, because it's a free market, an open market that we operate in Jamaica, and the government couldn't legislate for an increase in private sector wages. So clearly the government would speak to those people it pays directly, the public sector workers. So obviously public sector workers would be the ones who are asked to hold strain. Additionally, when we talk about the economy doing well and the fundamentals, the macroeconomic indicators being strong, that is largely driven by what happens in the private sector as well. So it's not just public sector workers whose productivity and output, GNI, GDP, GNI and all that, contributes to the overall position of the company. So you have to distill those things to get the full picture.
Certainly. And I totally agree. That is the full picture. However, when we do the comparison, it is any public sector worker that finds themselves in the position of strain, of struggle, of trying to make ends meet on a monthly basis. This is where it happens when it redounds to what these individuals, including teachers and other public sector workers,
hear you on that.
how far the dollar can stretch.
So let me ask you this.
What it is that they need to do.
So let me ask you this.
So therefore, as a nation, we now need to understand that we have to take care of the number one resource, and that is our people,
and do better by them. But let me ask you, if you look,
nurses are leaving. It's not just teachers,
Yeah, man.
Professionals from every sector are leaving.
But let me ask you,
because of their inability to survive.
So I'm saying, in the context of you being somewhere, I'm sure you knew before, because you're a man who keeps yourself informed. You're a learned man. You know, but you knew before you went to this conference that the issue of teacher shortage is legion. Many countries are struggling with it. You said 44 million teachers are short worldwide.
Right.
So you've gone to this conference and you've seen firsthand, you've spoken with colleagues far and wide, and you realize that it's not just a Jamaica problem. It's not just a Jamaica problem where budgets aren't being tailored to give the teachers more. Does that not make your position a little bit more sympathetic to the situation facing your own government and their ability to pay? I'm asking you. You can answer yes or no. I'm asking you.
Unfair, and I'm saying, no, it doesn't soften my approach. Governments right across the world, right across our region, I believe, are in a position to treat their public sector workers and teachers better. It has not softened my approach. Again, when you look at the macroeconomic indicators of many of these international jurisdictions, to include our own country, we see that these indicators are suggesting growth, are suggesting improvement. Now, if we do not take care of the number one resource, our people, it doesn't matter what a government does.
But Mr. Johnson,
it doesn't matter how many people they import.
You would agree, though.
Productivity is going to be compromised.
You would agree, though, that an economy that grows year over year, say an average between 1.9 and 2.1%, is hardly in a position to be able to give the kind of increases to satisfy your constituents, the doctors, the dentists, the medical technologists.
That's an argument that has always been promulgated right across the decades. That, once we see a little growth, the government is not in a position to give this kind of increase to the doctors, the teachers, the nurses, the policemen. It's a perennial argument. We know as a nation need to demand of our government that once we are in the position, once there have been sacrifices made, and I want to indicate that we are reasonable people, teachers are reasonable people, and I believe public sector workers in across our nation are reasonable people. When we have made the sacrifice, we now need to see and feel that in our spending power, in our abilities to purchase our homes, to send our children to university, to give our children good education, to take care of our health. Listen, if you should go down to the extent about the percentage or how our teachers are to be paid, coming out of the public sector review, remember the percentage that our parliamentarians got?
Yes.
That, in my estimation, was a slap in the face of everybody else. That was a slap in the face of everybody else, notwithstanding the compensation review. So therefore, having done that for parliamentarians, done that for other individuals, we believe as public sector workers, we must now be in a position to be paid comparable to other jurisdictions.
We have to run, Mr. Johnson. We're out of time.
Teachers can take care of their families, buy homes, pay for their medical expenses, send their children to school, and live with a better standard of living.
I have to leave. So I say this to you. So your message this morning to the government is pay more and keep more of us at home.
Yeah, man. Pay more, retain our teachers. Our teachers don't want to leave. They want to remain on our shores. Guaranteed. They just want to be able to live. They just want to be able to take care of their families. They just want to have that decent life, and many of our teachers do not have that at this point.
All right. Well, here's what you do. Take care, and before you travel home when?
The 4th.
The 4th. Well, put the race on your phone and watch the Olympics, the women's 100 meters semi-final and the final.
Certainly.
Yes, and show your friends that you're from the fastest country on planet Earth.
Definitely.
All right,
Definitely.
so thank you.
My pleasure.
Leighton Johnson there, the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The time by Pure Water is
8:27.
At Design Privacy, we value relationships. Join our exclusive open DPO community and interact with privacy professionals. Share ideas, insightful challenges, and build career-boosting connections with expert advice at your fingertips. Get access to specialized tools, exclusive workshops, and case studies. Enjoy unparalleled networking. Join Design Privacy's open DPO community to expand your expertise and excel in your career. Visit opendpocommunity.com today and take your data privacy skills to the next level.
Together we're our people standing strong. 3 million Jamaicans, let's work as one. Such a course and work with a plan. Proud and tall, let's make the whole world understand. Every Jamaican have the heart of a champion. Such a core, big up with champions. Watch my style, watch my skill, watch my flow. Standing out anywhere where we go. Many goals, many dreams, many strides. All the black, green and gold, and we pride. Proud and tall, let's make the whole world understand. We are strong, when we are one, Sagicor, celebrating Jamaican success.
East Central is online. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Davis. Good morning, Mr. Said.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, YouTubers. Bless up, bless up. Yeah, man, yesterday was Emancipation Day, and there was a function in Adelphi Content. The minister was there, Minister Bartlett was there. The function was consist of about a back-to-school treat. It was some football games with youngsters under 16, 17, and the day went right. Everything seems okay so far, upon the moment. But I had a list of things what I indicated to Member Bartlett in terms of the constituency and in terms of development of the constituency. He had responded to me in so many areas. Some of the areas he had responded to me, it wasn't all that bright enough, but I still accept the response, what he had given to me. So we had wanted to have further dialogue with him. So he had said that, all right, then check in at the office, make your name be public, and just let him know it's essential. So in further dialogue, we think we are going to have a better heading going on forward in terms of the development of the constituency. Because I even had outlined and indicate to him that we want the CRC committee to come in Essential St. James. And at this facility where we were yesterday, in Adelphi Content, Brantley new facility just built out, mini stadium, and that he said, all right, then it seems like here, so it's one of the more suitable places to keep it. I said, all right, then, well, cool. I indicate to him, ask him if Miss Nadine Spence had check with him. He said, oh, he never get a chance to check with him yet. So, Miss Nadine, I had reached out to Member Bartlett, so it's your turn now to check with him for you and the CRC committees to make an indication, come on the ground, outline, make people put questions to you, what people have find it difficult around, and if it is they are finding it difficult around any areas of the development going forward. But one of the things I never really get to ask him, and he never really get to ask him about the pamphlet them. Oh, at the Emancipation Park, I did see some pamphlet giving out. I never get a chance to ask him about the pamphlet then. So Member Bartlett, I am now asking you about the pamphlet then. If it is there is any pamphlet at your office for person who has been interested in the way going forward and the way around the CRC. Those pamphlets, I wanted to see them to see if they are interested stuff for me and my neighbors them to look at. and get a brighter and better understanding.
All right, sir. Well, you've touched on the things that you wanted to touch, and you've said clearly what you want and the form that you want it in. I hope that Dr. Spence was hearing you, and that workers from Dr. Bartlett's office have, well, no, he's not doctor, his brother is a doctor, that Ed Bartlett's office would have heard you as well. All right, East Central?
Mr. St. Alvin Bartlett is a doctor?
Dr. St. Alvin Bartlett.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I remember in the 2002, the Bartlett family was happy, when they win both seats. I can always remember from those days until now.
Yeah. Eastern St. Andrew and East Central St. James. All right, man. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good. Who else? King?
Richie.
Rich. Good morning, Rich.
Morning, my friend, George.
Saeed is not your friend.
Saeed.
Good morning.
Saeed need to walk more straight, less like how you walk straight,
First of all, sir.
What do you mean?
Sometimes, when I listen to him, it's as if he don't really understand the true reality of life,
Well, if anything, if it's straight, let's talk about me know me walk straight. That's all me can say. No, boy, you.
Alright, we're not going to go into any politics. Anyway, George, you want to hear no. How many you know politics to my family? I'm the Palmers, man. I mean, we were big name in this time of slavery, through Annie Palmer,
You're a descendant of Annie Palmer?
Me no know, so I know say me get the slave name Palmer.
Oh?
So where's the apology for my family?
Oh, well, when the Palmers come, we'll hear from them. The Malcolms are here. And they're so they can't apologize for the Palmers. They can only apologize for the Malcolms.
Yeah, but I need all of them if you apologize. So all of the name they want to give it to the slave.
No, man, you know better than that. You know that they have to talk
in alphabetical order.
No, man, they have to do their own family and hope that other families see the need to follow the lead of Laura Trevelyan and to follow their lead and so forth. So they're building up consensus and building up steam and building up participation. That's how it works.
Yes. But I there's a person Christmas Pitney first, right? Yeah. No, it is said that the opposition leader family was ancestors. They were slave owners too, right?
I don't know about that. A lot of things have been said, and a lot of it is not true. But I don't know. I don't know that is true. I don't know that.
I don't know myself. That's why I'm asking.
And remember, it would have been difficult because his father at least is an Englishman living in England, living in the UK. So it would have been difficult for him to be there and being a slave owner unless he was by proxy. But I don't think so. I've not heard that, and I can't speak to that.
Well, that question should be put to him, right?
That question should be put to him. And look, man, in the future, I want you to behave yourself with Saeed. Saeed is a solid young man. And you know why you come stand.
No, George, I won't do that, man. You know my style already, man. Anyway, George, respect to the people,
man.
Right?
Yeah, Richie, every time, man. Respect. Cool. Yeah.
Good morning, Keisha.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Saeed. Hi, George.
Good, man. How you do?
Me fabulous, man. What am you good?
Everything good.
Well, from here, I talk to East Central, because from the rain and fall, after the rain, because the time hot. I'm here, East Central mentioned Adelphi content. And you know what he did? He brought back some childhood memories, because I remember growing up in Adelphi content. And that's where I did my permanent and Adelphi college. So, kind of bring back some little memories right there. So, I miss out to my principal, Miss Daisy Williams, who was the principal at Adelphi College in those days, and I go way back when. Anyway, George, that me a call about it. One of the semi-final.
Yes. You mean semi-final one?
Semi-final one. I write it to me there.
Cheese and peas.
That's going to be a cracker.
And as Saeed said it, at the final that.
Of course. And then guess what? Because it's the final of the final, right? I believe that Shelly Fraser is going to run a very fast time, and even she have to wait on the bubble, she will get to the final.
No, Mama. No, Keisha. At the first, if I disagree with you, she not wait for no bubble.
She coming in the top 2, man.
No bubble.
She coming in the top 2.
If, George, I'm saying if.
All right, my friend, I hear you. But Shelly not wait for no bubble. Believe it.
Even, and that's why I already read, even if. But George, listen, there is no semi-final at any major global event, that Sherry has never passed the semi-final.
Yep. So
I look at all of them between 2008.
the record will continue, man. Don't worry yourself.
Remember to me, I Sherry and Bootley kind of.
There you go. Yeah, man. Nothing now go change. Nothing now go change, Kish.
Oh, my
Not a
word.
thing now go change.
But guess what, George? I did not hear your medal count.
No, I don't believe in that, Keisha, because that only you set up yourself for disappointment. Hold on, Keisha. Let me take a time signal and come back. Don't move.
Get ready for KB's Grand Back to School Fair and Concert on Saturday, August 10, 2024 at 31 East behind Portmore Town Center. Enjoy special discounts on books and back to school supplies.
The Time by Kingston Bookshop, celebrating our stories, inspiring yours, is
8:38.
Everything you do with your JN Bank Visa credit card could be a win for you. Go shop win, dine win, travel win, or pay win bills with your JN Bank Visa credit card. Every time your purchases total $40,000 using your JN Visa credit card, you earn an entry to win. Every purchase you make adds up. Win weekly summer watch party kits of coolers and grocery vouchers so you don't miss the runnings. Or be one of 2 monthly winners of $100,000 cash. Don't have a JN Visa credit card? It's easy. Visit jnbank.com today. Win with your JN Bank Visa credit card. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Nowhere to hide for the big names in the first semifinal of the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics. No name bigger than Shelley and Fraser Price in the event, and she is drawn in lane 5. Beside her will be Julian Alfred, the St. Lucian, in lane 6, and beside Julian, on Julian's right, will be Shakira Richardson, the American, in lane 7. 5, 6, and 7. That's where the action will be. And the news is only 2 of those will qualify automatically for the final. The other person will have to wait on a count back of times after the 3 semifinals are completed to see if they are one of the 2 fastest losers. And Keisha says that Mrs. Fraser Price is good, right? That's what you're saying. Keisha?
Yes.
Yeah, man, you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yeah, man. So I'm saying you. So what about the other 2 semifinals now with Tia Clayton running with Daryl Nita, the Canadian, Audrey LeDuc, and Twanisha Terry, the American?
I think that might be slightly different.
You think she
No,
might not
I'm
get
not
through?
really confident.
You're not so confident.
No.
And then
Because you know why?
Yes.
If it's the first 2, then you're gonna have to be waiting on the bubble for the 3rd.
Yes.
And remember that what's her name from Ivory Coast?
Talu Smith.
She's gonna be in that.
No, man. Talu's in the 3rd semifinal with.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's 3 semifinals.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's the one. Which one Dina Asher Smith is in? The
Dina
third
Asher
one?
Smith is in the 2nd one.
Wow, so that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Hold on then. No, Dina Asher Smith is in the 3rd one. So Dina Asher Smith is with Shashalee Forbes, Melissa Jefferson, Eva Svoboda, and Mujinga Kambunji. She's in the 3rd semifinal.
Okay. So that means that it simply means that the young Miss that came 3rd, you call her name Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
She came 3rd at the trials in the US.
Yes.
Right? And you have Dina Asher Smith and you have Marie Joseph Talu, right? That's the 3rd, right?
Yes.
So if you're gonna have somebody on the bubble from the first one, I believe that another person on the bubble might come from that one. And if it's 2 from the bubble, then that's where it is.
Boy, bubble I got big because of some fast people. I'm gonna be waiting. Yeah. So what's your medal count, Keisha?
I at one point I caught 11, but with Sherry not gonna be participating in the 100.
Mhm.
I know at 10.
10. I
Yes,
hope we get
sir.
the 10. I hope we get the 10.
And George, I am gonna tell you this. Miss Keisha, she will win the 400.
Nikisha Price?
Yes, sir.
Boy, she look awesome, me. Cheese and
Yes,
peas. Yeah, man. Look awesome. All right,
I'm
Keisha.
enjoying so far.
Yeah, man. I will hope to have reason to celebrate tomorrow. All right.
Oh yes, sure.
All right. Cool. Later. O'Neill is next. Good morning.
Good morning, O'Neill.
Good morning, George, Sai.
Good morning.
Yes. Yeah, man. 2 points, George. Sometimes when you're interviewing the people, you tend to put words in their mouth, like the representative for the teachers just now, when you were saying that the government should pay more to retain them. Let them say what they want to say, man.
No, but he spent about 20 minutes saying the same thing. So it was the last thing before he left. So I said, all right, so just to summarize what you've said, you are saying pay them more and keep more at home. And he said, yes, pay them more and retain. But that's what that's the argument he was making from me joining the conversation.
Yeah, but him should have can't say that.
Didn't stop him from saying that, though.
Well,
He was probing further as to the veracity of what he was saying, so. Yeah, that's our job. You see, that's the thing, my friend. That's the thing. And I've sat in this chair for over 2 years now. And George, for decades more than I.
Okay.
I realize that at the end of the day, if we don't probe, then they say we're lazy journalists. And when we probe, we say we're putting things in the people's mouth.
No, man, it's not the probing, It's just
No, but that's what he was doing. He's not putting anything in the man's mouth. He's a learned man. But we have to put questions to them. And have to interpret and interrogate.
No, but that is not putting question to them. Putting a question to him. That was like telling him that this is what you're saying, right?
Well, we have to ensure that what we understand him to be saying is what he's actually saying. And if it's not so, then he clarifies. And departs therefrom.
Oh, okay.
Because it could very well be, O'Neill, that when I recast the thing as in summary, him could have said, no, that's not what I said, so and so and so, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next point is the teachers need more pay. And he's saying the economy, the government is saying, or he's seeing it that the economy is growing. So the teachers can get more pay. Then tell me something now. The economy is growing, yes, but where the economy is coming from to where it is now and how much it is growing by. Can we afford to pay the teachers what they want?
Well, I tell you what, O'Neill. Yes, we can afford to pay the teachers what they want, but that's not the problem. You can't pay the teachers and don't pay everybody else.
Well,
and that's where the problem starts, yes.
Right, that means to say we can't pay them what they want.
That is true.
Right. That's the first thing, and the second thing, most of the teachers, they go Canada, US, England. Tell me something now. Those are developed country, first world country, and with the exchange rate, can we afford to pay a teacher enough? Because it's all like a money teacher they want.
Well, let me ask you a question. What area are you working?
Right now, I am self-employed.
All right. So if you well, maybe that's not the best example. Transportation. But if you could go foreign, go do what you do, and somebody invite you, the government invite you to come and drive, and you get a house where you come, and you get a social security number and thing, and them say, just come and go and give you all these things, and all you have to do is do what you would do daily in Jamaica. You wouldn't go and do it.
Well, it depends, because I have experience of working abroad, so I know.
And then say bring your family with you. Them say bring your family with you. You wouldn't go.
Not necessarily. I mean, some have experience.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is, you know the point I'm making. The point I'm making is this: for many people working here, if you go to them and say, listen, US want Canada want you can bring your mother, your children, and your granny with you. Yeah? And they're going to give you a house where you go, have to go frit a look place for live and all them things. And all you're going to do is do the same thing that you get up every day in Jamaica and do. Most people gone.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's the point I'm making. So,
right,
yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, but that's the same point I'm making.
Right.
So can Jamaica
compete with that?
Can Jamaica compete with that?
No.
No, but that man why you not ask the man.
No, man. But
every time, every president of the JTA come, and let me make this plain. George. My mother is a retired teacher. The only job she has ever done from she was 19. So it's not that me a bashy teacher them coming and like them. But me no hear nobody that put that point to them. Can we compete with US?
That point put
and
to them
America
all the time.
And China.
Sorry,
not China.
Canada.
I mean, England, Canada, yeah. Can we compete with them? Because every time, that's them strong point, the teacher them want more money, and the teacher them supposed to get more and get more and get more. When the teachers are not the only sector that the government have to pay.
Yeah. But Mr. As a good trade unionist, Mr. Johnson, no business with that, In business with the teachers.
Yeah.
But that's good journalists. We want to show them up some more.
No, but it's not show them up. Remember, we're not interviewing to show up. He has said what he said. You, as a reasonable man, you've sat and you've listened to his line and what he believes that his argument should be built on, and you disagree with him. There are others like you, don't believe that you're alone. So people see and they hear and they draw their own conclusions. So
But at the same time, George, we are all in this thing together, and we have to eat off of the same little piece of pie. You see what I say? And because you want him to express himself, and because he's a good trade unionist, but at the same time, I think you guys are to defend the country, because whatever them do or whatever happen, the country go feel it. I think we should defend the country.
Boy, I don't know. I don't know which interview you're listening to, because I did say to him that if he agrees that teachers are not the only group of workers that the government pay, and that the government will face a compounded problem if they have to pay every public sector group, and him say he still double down in the business with that. So I don't know what else you want if you ask him.
Because it just sounds like you just asked me a question and you just make him just
Mr. O'Neill, I said to him, do you agree that to pay you, I said dentists, I said doctors, I said police, I said nurses, I said all of those things, so you never hear that?
Yeah, me hear
Then who you
why you press it on him more?
When me press it on him, the man reject the argument offhand that the government have other people to pay. What should I do then? Tell me. If you were interviewing him and you put that to him and him said no, he might talk about the teachers and the what would you have done? Teach me.
Because
you not stop saying it.
No, me not teach you. But me not stop saying it because Jamaica is the all important.
Yeah, O'Neill, you know, say something go on. You know better. Yeah. Anyway, we have to run. Yeah. Thank you this morning.
Son say, and when you don't do nothing, you see you still now walk straight. Actually, you talk stand. But by the way, what's your name, Mr. Shina? Listen, surprising to say you don't listen, but you're still here.
Who that?
I don't remember her name. Whoever she is. Anyways, and by the way, as well, Kavion, let me give you some attention. Please, I'm giving you some attention. Yeah, I hope you have a good breakfast. Yeah? All right. Birthdays?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right. Cool. Let's go.
Help your child to own a house with an NHT Parent Assist loan. Find out more at nht.gov.jm. The time by NHT is
8:50.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
When the black man's word was spoken, yes, and the white folks' heart, it was a token. We have suffered our whole life doing things that we're not supposed to do. No, we were beaten till our bark was black and blue. I was born a leader. I was born a leader because I'm a black man. Now I was living in my own land. I was moved because of white man's flag. Now I'm living in a white man's land. that you're gone. Good, I can go onward without.
Sorry, don't sing that tune then.
You don't see a wicked judge. Judge wicked enough. Judge, even though I say, who sing that tune the first time?
I never heard it.
You never hear it?
You've never heard it?
No, never heard it before.
Great Alton boy, Alton Ellis.
Alton Ellis.
Anyway, run the birthday then. Run the birthday then, my G.
Happy birthday, a very special birthday to Dolores Williams, an ardent NNN listener. Hi Dolores, happy birthday to you. Those greetings coming from your children Suzette, Yvonne, Garfield and Mark, and of course your 6 grandchildren. Of course you have some Facebook birthdays as well.
Let me do this one before you find Facebook.
Got you now.
So Barbara Ellington says, morning George, please wish my uncle OP and aunt G a happy 63rd wedding anniversary. They live in Florida. She says blessings galore and good health to you. So Barbara Ellington sending happy wedding anniversary greetings to Uncle OP and Aunt G. 63 years of marriage. 63. Wow. You live in Florida. And Barbara says blessings galore. Good health to both of you.
And happy birthday greetings to Cassandra Thompson from Portmore. Those greetings coming from your YouTube chat, Rider40. And our Facebook birthdays, Sabrina Jarrett, Michael Morrison, Dawn Brown, Akila Jarrett, Delana Seavright, James Duncombe, Star Angels, Nico King, okay. Happy birthday to Donette Williams, Andrea Davis, and Michelle Thomas. Happy birthday to you all.
You know, some people in the chat are saying teachers don't get hosts. No, man, I know a couple of my friends who left the prep school that they were teaching and they went into accommodations. And yes, of course, many teachers have to go and find their own place. I have a friend in North Carolina who had to be driving all up and down over Fayetteville to try to find accommodation. But some of them get their accommodations sorted out before they even land. So that's what I meant.
Yeah, those are your birthdays.
Yeah, man.
Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Because you're hurting me. Yes. Because you're hurting me. Yeah. Oh, baby.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Got to do this new dance, Joan. Anyway,
another song you do.
Booker T says, George, yes, some are offered accommodation, but it's not free. We never see a free accommodation, Booker T. We don't see you get house. Yeah, but boy, and some people are saying, George, I get a little room. Sometimes I get Student for Life says they pay $1,800 for a box, which send a lot into depression in North Carolina and West Virginia. Yeah, man, Student for Life. I've heard some horror stories of people who leave and go and regret it. Shame kill them can't come back. But yeah, the struggle continues to be real, Mr. Bernard.
I imagine so. Anyways.
Yeah, man, you have to take us home now.
Yeah, it's that time again. By the way, happy birthday to Otis Blessings. Your birthday is on the 4th. Okay, so big up yourself. Your 5th birthday? I can't your 5th birthday. You mean your 50th? Anyways, special thanks to our super producer Michelle McCrae Smith, to the man behind the controls, Jermaine King, to Kimon in the newsroom. Hi, Kimon. And of course, to Tana Thomas, who is enjoying her vacation. Hope you're enjoying it, TT. We miss you. Special thanks as well to our listeners, viewers, and of course our sponsors, all of you who've made this show possible. Special thanks goes out to you. It is a Friday, but we do this all over again come Monday morning. I'm Said Bernard.
Before we go, last lick. Marigold, I have your Marigold. Fret not. Marigold says, happy birthday to my sister Beryl Weber Wright. Beryl Weber Wright, your sister Marigold. She's sending lots and lots of love for you on this day. So Marigold Weber, her birthday, her sister rather, Beryl Weber, right, celebrates her birthday today. And Marigold says you remain a sweetheart. All right, Marigold, I left you till last to make you fret. But now I left you out. Now I left you a road, all right? My name is George. Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
I need a hot girl tonight. I say I need a very, very hot girl. Hot girl tonight. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood. I'm feeling so rude. I'm feeling rude. I say now, when you feel it, girl, you're gonna say it's so nice. When you feel it, you're gonna say it's so nice. I say now, see.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Your tax